Oh, what's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? We are back. We are back. We are back. And we are back at it again. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Oh my goodness, it's already people in the chat. All right, y'all. Happy, what's this? Tuesday? So, happy Tuesday to you all. The days are starting to blend together. Mama has a regular job during the day, so I had to stop and take a break and did a live earlier about Umar. We are doing this live on Candace Owens and this alleged gag order she says she's already going to violate. Now, let me explain something to you all. Okay. Now, I hope you guys can hear me. We are all clear on this. This post that Candace put up was unprovoked. She posted this up herself. Okay. No one told her to post that post up. She chose to do it. So, if anyone should be asking what gag order, you should be asking Candace Owens what gag order, because she's the one that put it out there to say, I will be violating a gag order. Who tweets something like that if there's no gag order that exists? Candace, what the hell you been doing for a whole week, girl? Yeah, Candace be watching our stuff. She just don't say it. You can tell in some of the responses, though. She watches. But who puts out a tweet that says something about a gag order if such gag order does not exist, Candace? That is the weirdest thing ever. It's like me posting up something on my page saying, I plan on violating, this protection order against me. And then people are like, what protection order? You didn't put yourself out there. So either she did that to get attention, because how can we forget who you are, Candace? You got a whole leader of another country suing your behind. You're not somebody that can just go away for a week and people just forget you. All right. If nothing else, we're definitely going to be keeping up with what's going on with that Macron lawsuit. But why put this out here if you're not trying to have people believe that there is such a gag order in place? So what we're going to do, because reading is fundamental, we're going to pull up the court document. Yes, I have it. So first and foremost, want to thank you all for tuning in. Not people watching, make sure y'all hit that like button. Hit that like button. We're getting so many supporters that are coming in, enjoying the Candace Owens content. She's been kind of like MIA. I don't think she's gone live in over a week. She needs to take a break either way. I can say it. It's been just a nice breather with her not doing videos, but and I appreciate all of the support here in the Lady Luck Club. Those who have even subscribed because of the Candace reporting is going to continue on. You guys notice there's a whole playlist, international headliner Candace Owens on my channel. It's a ploy on the international headliner thing. So I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. As you come in, hit the like button. Hit the like button. We have some information to share here, and I just want to, put up some of the information that the document itself. Read over that, but if Candace is out here the one saying that she has a protection or a gag order on her, one has to wonder why. All right. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to go through some comments, but we're going to check out one of her videos, and you'll see exactly the things she's been saying to try to justify being, in this fake CIA, whatever she thinks she's created. It's almost an insult. Like, don't insult the Justice Department. You don't have to trust them. You don't have to like them. But don't intrude or interfere with whatever they're doing either. Because at this rate, Candace, you're going to hand the defense their case. And you don't have any proof of evidence to show that anyone else committed the crime of murdering Charlie Kirk. So one would think, with all the things she's been saying and doing and put out there, my question would be, has she been visited by the feds? Has she had an investigator call her, ask her questions about these so-called tips and all of this information being sent her way. She's alleged that some woman who was paid to give her a tip called about a video saying that the suspect was walking with a woman. Where's that video? She put it out there. How does Candace even vet her tips in the first place? Candace, you make enough money to hire a PI or another attorney to help you vet those tips to make sure that there's some legal validity to it, right? And you don't read a tip where the person tells you they were paid to tell you this. They were paid to give you this tip. That's not the tip you want to read. As far as journalistic integrity, it's going to lose that value because any and everything that this person is saying to you, if they are telling you they're being paid to tell you that, more than likely they're only saying what they're saying because someone paid them to say that. So how do you validate that? Why would that be deemed, authentic and valid as far as a tip? Why would you even take that serious? It's ridiculous. So shout out to all of you all that are already in here, that tuned in, that have left comments. Thank you so much. Loyal Love 3. I think this gag order applies to people affected by the murder, right? Not about podcast commentators. Well, we're going to read the actual court document, the actual order. And then we're going to go over what a gag order is and then go over some case law that helps to interpret and define a gag order when it does pertain to members of the public. So, like I said, Candace put this tweet out here. No one thought about it. Like this protection order was signed back in September. And she's just now tweeting something about a gag order as of yesterday. Candace put that out there. That to me is like, why would you do that? But she put that out there. So I don't even know how to take this. Like, we wouldn't be talking about this if she had not sent this tweet. Candace telling on herself. Like, what are you doing? Why are you telling on yourself? But that's what she did. She told on herself. She put this tweet out here. So I don't know what to make of it. But I'm just gonna read the information. And typically there is case law that does pertain to specific gag orders regarding the public and what the Supreme Court rulings have been able to decide in the past. And yeah, I mean there can be gag orders that apply to members of the press. That's why I don't understand why she would even want to put out a tweet like this and then have everybody in an uproar over what? Why would you? What gag order are you referring to, and why do you feel like you need to violate it? That she's telling on herself. It makes no sense. All right, y'all. So we're going to go over the order. We're going to go over the definition. We're going to go over her tweet, and then we're going to go over the case law so that it can make sense based on my research. And you guys, as always, please read the research information for yourselves. I don't expect. Listen, we're the Lucksters here in the Lady Luck Club. We believe reading is fundamental. I don't expect anybody to act like a candy ass. You don't have to just believe what I say. Fact check me at any time. There's information I may not see that you might deem, fruitful. Email it to me. LadyLuckClubLLC at yahoo.com. We're all still waiting on that camera footage, Candace, of that suspect walking with a woman. Lord have mercy. All right. Meraki, how you doing? I agree. Laughing my ass off. She's just writing this only to fish another crazy assumption of hers. Yeah, she's throwing it out there. She tweeted it. I didn't tweet it. I have an X account. I don't even barely use it. Candace put that out there. Nick Yardy, what a big mouth she has. No one would have known she was under a gag order. Exactly. If she would just shut the fuck up. She would just shut the fuck up. Best believe the authorities watching her social media. The poor intern that has to watch her socials. Oh, God, I know, right? Liz, there is no gag order on CO. Once again, she's spewing nonsense. God, child. That goes to the question. Why put this out there, Candace? Why post the tweet? It's like she has to be the center of attention, even in something that may or may not even exist. That's not our fault for, reporting on this stuff here. It's her fault for putting it there. Of course, we're going to talk about it here. Why were we talking about it in the Lady Luck Club? Absolutely. Opportunity to read some court documents? Yes. Exactly. We're going to talk about it. But she put it out there. No one accused her of having a gag order. Not does she need one? Probably at some point, but no one accused her of that. No one did that. So you need to attack Gerard Kushner, who, let me see, attack Gerard Kushner. He is saying the same as Candace. Oh, great. Okay, he's on a gag order. Candace is an American citizen. She has free speech just like everyone else. Without Candace, you have nothing to talk about. Obviously, you haven't seen my whole channel, so whatever. The gag order is for the witnesses, not her. Sam Golden. She's involving herself to make it about her, but she can't break an order that wasn't toward her. Okay. She put it out there. Frankly says whether this Yahoo wants to believe it or not, Candace was a builder of TP USA and she has the inside skinny. I know a lot of green screeners who think it means them too. What? Not making sense. Yeah, I posted up this because I had originally set the time for 8:15. And GS70 said, how is Candace under gag order not being a witness, attorneys, or a prosecutor stated in a court document? Yeah, I mean, she put it out there. She put this post up. Sounds more like a psychology to make this under gag spill the beans. Sounds more like, okay, you can posted that up. Yankee City girl, I thought she was taking a 10-day break. Her OCD wouldn't allow it. Who knows what's going on with her? We've enjoyed the break so far. Kimberly Brennan says, if she's so bad, why hasn't she done her podcast the last 2 days? You know, we've enjoyed the silence. Yeah, let's just say that. The truck meet Texas incident is under gag order as well. Okay. Candy isn't even relevant to CK's trial gag order. Ha ha ha. Yeah. All right, y'all. Y'all ready? We're going to check out a video. And we got it right here. Well, you all can see some of the dumb things that Candace has said that one might believe could lead to a gag order. All right. You all understand what I'm saying? She has said some things that one could lead to having a gag order granted against them. Not saying she has one. She's saying she has a gag order in her post. So let me pull up the post first because I want you all to see this. I can't make this up. I have no reason to post up anything about her in a gag order. I didn't put it up. So she put the post up. Now let's go to the post first. All right. Because I want you all to see this. Because it's so dumb for her to put this out here. All right. Y'all can see that here. This is the gag order. I mean, this is her text about a gag order. Lord knows where it is. So, and I'm still gonna talk about Candace Owens. Say you don't have to like it. It is what it is. But we're gonna report on it. Then it's not gonna stop. So let's go. Don't worry. This is from Candace Owens, the real Candace O. Don't worry about the gag order in the Charlie Kirk case. Who said there was a gag order, Candace? I plan to violate it on the world's behalf. You know what? Let me tell you something. Whatever order that has been signed by a judge and is being enforced under the law, if you believe that you're going to violate it, which means you will be breaking the law on behalf of the world says no thank you. We're not under a gag order. You're claiming to be. Why are you doing something on? This is the impression she tries to push. I'm doing this for you all, just like with the Macron case that she's going to lose. Oh, I'm doing this for you guys. What are you doing? No one asked you to see if the Brigitte Macron was born a man. Why can't you report on stuff going on in the U.S.? You don't have to do anything on behalf of the world. Won't you start with your country first? Because USA first. Why don't you start with your own country first? Why don't you talk about what's going on here in the US? If she would have pushed half as hard as she did with Brigitte Macron or Charlie Kirk's death regarding the Epstein files being released, they probably would have been released by now. So you really want to do something, why don't you do a 3-week whole nonstop series of videos about Trump releasing the Epstein files? Why don't you do that? Like that would help many people around the world because it involves so many people around the world. You have a whole prince that decided to go take it to the house over the Epstein files. And you can't do a series of videos to get Trump's attention to get him to release everything. But you can talk about this to Kingdom Come, or talk about Brigitte Macron being born a man with no scientific evidence to support it. I don't care about your conspiracy theories. I'm not here for that. Where's the science to prove it? DNA. She knows that it would take the blood of the first lady. That's why she made the comment in one of her videos that I have played relentlessly in at least 2 or 3 other videos on my channel. I can have my doctor lie out, get a little blood, take care of this real quick. That's what she said. Because she knows she would need DNA. Now that they're going to bring scientific evidence to court, because they don't care about your feelings, it's all about the facts. You're going to lose, Candace. You're going to lose. But no. You're planning on being a rebel on behalf of the world that no one is asking you to be. What people will be asking you for are refunds for those tickets to that so-called tour in Australia that the Australian government, the High Court of Australia, has said, you're not welcome here. We don't have time. Bye, Felicia. So now you owe a bunch of refunds to a lot of people with those who purchased those tickets. Why don't you focus on that? On behalf of the world, give everybody back their refund for those tickets to that Australian tour. And then let people choose if they want to go to a tour next year. But don't withhold their money and then force them to choose that option. Give them the choice. So on behalf of the world wants their refund back for those tickets from the Australian tour, Candace. That's what we want for the world. We want those people to get their money back. It's that simple. It's not your money. And you certainly did not deliver the product or meal. So, nope, don't need you to do anything on behalf of the world. When it comes to violating and breaking laws here in the United States, we don't do that. You mean what's good for me is not for thee? So she gets to break the law. But if we do the same thing, then what? The candy asses will be all over the place. They be all over our videos. She gets to break the law. It's all good. She's doing this on behalf of the world. Anyone else violates the law. She's sitting here being defamatory, not able to scientifically prove that Brigitte Macron was born with a penis. And she doesn't think she's bound by any anti-defamatory laws at all. I can't believe they're suing me. And in Delaware? Yeah, you filed a lawsuit in Delaware and lost against USA Today. I went over that case. She lost bigly. It was a bigly loss. But yet, when it comes to her following laws, look how she acts. I'm going to violate it on behalf of the world. Yeah, and then the world will watch you be held to contempt of court if such order exists. No one said she had a gag order, but her. Girl, you got this all stuck in your head, girl. What's going on, huh? Thank you so much for the $10 super. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Is she so bad? I just want to make sure I get these comments in. Thank you for the $10 super. New to the channel, GS70. Thank you so much. That goes towards our $25 goal we have in the live. And it will be going towards the purchase of a bigger and wider desk that I can put all my equipment on. Because right now it's just kind of But thank God for the lights. We got the green screen, you all. Channel's getting upgrades to it. And I just want to thank all of you all. Want to shout out to Wolves of Black Wall Street for the support, for the products here, you guys, it's a blessing. It really is. So thank you all so much. Y'all can be watching anybody, but you're tuning in to Lady Luck Club here, and I appreciate you for it. So thank you so much for the $10 super, and that will go towards our $25 goal. So 15 more to go. All right, y'all, let's keep going. Yankee City on the world's behalf, grandiose thinking. Oh my gosh, she suffers from main character syndrome. Exactly. Candace is scared of Trump, the king of memes. She probably is. Trump will destroy anyone just making the memes. I mean, she could just say, where's the Epstein files? Go in hard on those videos about the Epstein files, Candace, as you do it with Brigitte Macron and with Charlie Kirk's death. Just go hard in on that. Probably would have gotten just as many views. So, all right, let's get back to it. The things I've discovered this past week are enough to burn the house down. Yes, Charlie was betrayed by everyone, but that includes his wife. What about his children, Candace? Are you insinuating they had a role as well? The kids came in with their bottle and binky, the cookies. Was in the cookies. Those cookies that had honey made from the communistic bees, people. So the children have been eating the cookies that were made with honey from the communistic bees. I mean, how could I'm just questioning here. I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. I find that to be very suspicious for the kids to be eating sugar cookies made with the same honey from my vision, from the communistic beehive that I saw in my vision. I thought they were homeschooled, but they're eating these cookies made with that honey. So maybe the cookies were planted there by Erica Kirk because it was snack time. I don't know. I'm just asking. I find it weird. I find it very suspicious. Do you all not find it suspicious? No, girl. You gotta laugh at this stuff, or else it'll give you a headache. So you have a reply here. This was the whole snippet I was sent. I shout out to one of my mods. I didn't need the whole thing. I said, just send me her post and maybe one underneath it. So here is J, JTC 53. I don't know who that is at all, but he replied saying, "On the world's behalf, you're actually crazy. You betrayed Charlie's whole family, friends over your obsession of a fake narrative, and you've been proven wrong on time and time again." There you go. She certainly has not been proven right about Brigitte Macron because she doesn't have the DNA to prove it. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't make it up. Thank you again, GS70 for the $10 super. Candace said betrayed by everyone, including herself, it seems. Exactly. By everyone, period. Y'all see there's a period there. Yeah, let's scroll up. By everyone, period. She didn't say except me and the wife and the children and those bees. It's the damn bees. You can't make this stuff up. Candace is not even trying at this point. So let's get to a video because she just doesn't, she just can't help herself, right? So let's get to a video, all right, where I'm telling you all, we're only gonna listen to some of it because we're not gonna be here all night. But yeah, we're gonna listen to some of this so that you all can understand why a court probably would want to put a gag on her behind. Shout out to GS70 for the two $10 supers, you all. This is a blessing. Thank you so much for supporting Lady Luck Club here. We're gonna get to it. You guys put a 1 in the chat and hit the like button. Put hearts in the chat once you've hit the like button. Don't be afraid to engage in the chat as well. CO avoid all things related to SA and ST to protect Andrew Tate. She's out here and defends Andrew Tate, but yet somehow these communistic bees are out here, having some sort of plot against Charlie Kirk's death. Like, it's so crazy. The sugar cookies are now going to have something to do with it. I mean, you can't make this up. So let's check out this beginning, just portions of this video, because if you listen to the whole thing, you probably start melting. All right, let's go.
Is like the show Succession on HBO. You guys know this show, which is about how all of the heirs and supposed to be kind of fashioned after Rupert Murdoch's throne. All the siblings are fighting one another to see who will it be that gets this empire. That really made me chuckle. I think that should be our new show intro.
My God.
Yes. Who will succeed Charlie Kirk? Who shall inherit the Turning Point throne? You know what, you guys, the best part of all of this for me is, unlike those ill-begotten heirs on the show, I have a 0% interest in Charlie's empire. I am not motivated by the...
You're not his wife. His wife was given the empire. He has a wife, girl. Does she forget this, or she just doesn't care? How does this go, Candace? Do you not care that Erica Kirk exists here on Earth? Or has your delusion preceded you to where now people don't exist on Earth either? You can't just block her out of your mind. Erica Kirk is a real human being that married Charlie Kirk and gave him 2 children. What are you talking about? If he's going to give anything to anyone, naturally the succession would be his wife. And then if he wasn't married, I don't think he would have kids out of wedlock, but let's just say he did. Then it would be the kids, and they would inherit it at a certain age. If they weren't here, his parents, then a sibling, and then so forth and so on, unless he had a will. You really think that the entire Turning Point USA would agree to Erica Kirk being the heir if he has something saying otherwise? What is she thinking here? Erica Kirk is a real person.
The idea of carrying on his torch. Not for a single moment did I think any person could carry on his torch. If you thought you could, you clearly did not know Charlie Kirk. Charlie was, in fact, an anomaly in the system. It happens rarely. And I don't know that I will live to see another person like him. I want you guys to know something. I want to share this with you. You can take it or you can leave it, but...
Yeah, okay, we're going to leave it. Hold on. Thank you, Janet, for the $20 super. What a blessing. Thank you so much, y'all. We met our goal. Thank you so much. But, you guys can listen. I'm not going to stop there, but we have met our goal. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you, GS. Another 10. When I die, all I want is for my wife to own everything I own, including 2 vacation homes I own for my kids as well. It's called will. Exactly. Do we not believe that Charlie Kirk did not have a will? He had to have a will. I mean, she's sitting here making it seem like, oh, well, she's just inheriting these things. No, it's called being his wife. How's this going to go between her and her husband? Because last time I checked, Candace married into money. Is there a prenup, Candace? I would love to read it. You have a prenup? Because I don't understand. God forbid anything happens to her or her husband, right? Wouldn't they either inherit each other's companies and properties and stuff? If something happened to her husband, God forbid, wouldn't she inherit everything? Wouldn't she become the CEO, whatever he owns, Georgetown Inc., and vice versa? This is so insane for her to come up like, how dare his wife inherit it? How do you mean? I have no interest in it. We're glad you don't, but no one asked you if you wanted to inherit everything. He had a wife. He has a wife. That's an automatic assumption that she gets it. Automatic. Shout out to you, GS70, for the extra $10 super. Thank you so much. Let's get back to it, you all, because, Candace is about to pump it up.
Charlie was betrayed. I know this.
Oh, sweet.
I've known this really since the first second, but I rarely have vivid dreams. And I did, in fact, have a very vivid one over the weekend. In fact, the last time that I had a super vivid dream, I was pregnant. It tends to happen a lot to women when they're pregnant. But in that dream from 2023, my former producer of the show and I were standing in the control room, and she told me that she was 26 weeks pregnant. This is in the dream. And she told me exactly what month the baby was coming. I asked her in the dream, is it a boy? Is it a girl? And she said, it's a boy. I woke up and I immediately texted my producer in real life and I said, hey, you're pregnant, just so you know, it's a boy. And then she found out that she was pregnant 1 week later. She had no idea when I texted her. And it's something that we reflected on a couple of months later because she was just totally shocked looking back on it. And this is our text chain from, you can see, 2023. She said, you texted me June 16th. And I think I got pregnant June 26th. This is crazy. And it's going to be a boy. It's nuts. I said, I'm telling you, your baby visited me. It was an insanely vivid dream. He was on his way. And she said, that is so bizarre. My mom also texted me that week saying that she had a dream I was pregnant. I said, I haven't had a dream that vivid since. It's been my only vivid dream this entire pregnancy. I believe people can communicate in dreams on their way in and on their way out of this world. I similarly, like I just said, had a vivid dream this weekend, and Charlie came to me and he told me that he was betrayed. And so for me, you don't have to believe that, but I do believe that. And it was the immediate sense I got, actually. And
I thought you said on the way in and on the way out. So you mean to tell me after 2 weeks of him being deceased, he came to you in a dream and said he was betrayed? That's quite poignant and clear. What? No euphemism behind that? Is it normal for a Christian to say that someone that is dead visit them in a dream? Is that what we believe? I don't know. It sounds a little off to me. I wonder what's going on. I'm convinced Candace wanted to be Mrs. Kirk, and since she was part of TPUSA founding, absolutely wants to be the head of it. Exactly. Yankee City says she's establishing her visionary cred. Miss Cleo in the house. I know, right? Yes, I believe so. She probably was one of those, just, in that position where she fell in love with the man and he didn't want to be with her and see her the same way. Maybe they tried to date, maybe not. It didn't work out. He met Erica. Then she went and somehow, like, her and George was, passed each other by, acquainted with each other for 18 days. And then they were engaged and got married. It wasn't done to make Charlie Kirk jealous or angry or something. Because I'm just gonna say right now, I don't think he cared. If he didn't marry Candace Owens, he wouldn't care who she married. as long as being a good friend, he wasn't some dude that would just cheat on her or hurt her or anything like that. But I don't think there was anything that Candace could do to make him jealous. I mean, to me, I just don't understand why you got engaged and married within 18 days of knowing someone. That's so crazy. Meraki said, please tell me if I'm saying your name right, by the way. I don't want to mispronounce it. Meraki? By you, Candace. The Timu CK. Shout out to you. Hilarious. Where the candy ass is at? Candy Ass was in full force in the chat earlier. Frankly, my dear, ran up out of here. I guess unless they got blocked. Just saying some crazy stuff. Oh, just crazy stuff. Chapel. All right, let's get back to it, you all. All right, when is dead people visiting you in a dream saying they were betrayed? I don't know. I don't recall anything in the Bible when it comes to a vision of someone being visited by the dead. Typically, people were visited by an angel of some sort, but just a dead person.
And I don't know who exactly it is that betrayed him, but I also felt in the dream that it is soon going to be revealed, that it's actually inevitable that it is going to be revealed, that there is nothing and no one that is going to stop the truth from coming out, and it is going to have international consequences. Take that to the bank. Quote me on that.
Okay.
Women tend to have a stronger intuition about people, I would say. I think it was the writer, producer, Conrad Flynn, that recently went on to Tucker Carlson's show, and he discussed that phenomenon in the context of the persecution of Christ. He's talking about Pontius Pilate's wife warning him not to persecute Jesus. Take a listen to that portion of their conversation.
And if you look at Pontius Pilate, you know, he wants to set, he at some point he flips and he's like, you know, this guy is innocent. My wife is having dreams about this man. That's another thing that's underreported in history. Wife as soothsayer / dreamer. I mean, your wife has many times been like, I have a bad feeling about this guy, Tucker. Don't have him on your show. And her intuition is such that even though there's no necessarily.
But this is not a good example, because Candace is saying that Charlie visited her in a dream 2 weeks after he's deceased. Pontius Pilate's wife is saying she had a vision that this man being innocent before Jesus was crucified and put to death. Correct me if I'm wrong here. If you're saying Pontius Pilate's wife had a dream, you're trying to connect it to what you had, but yet you're saying Charlie visited you in a dream 2 weeks after he passed away.
Wife as soothsayer / dreamer. I mean, your wife has many times been like, I have a bad feeling about this guy, Tucker. Don't have him on your show. And her intuition is such that even though there's no necessarily hard evidence, you know, it's your wife's take on stuff. You don't ignore it. But
I have ignored it. And
you're like, I've actually never listened to that.
No, I mean, I've been married 34 years as of Saturday, and it's like a joke in my house, you know. I told you he was bad. I don't know. He's hilarious. He seemed like a good guy to me. You know?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So you'd be the Pontius Pilate where she's like, oh, don't arrest this man. I had a dream.
100%.
But see, that's the thing. Pontius Pilate, according to what they're saying, had an intuition or some sort of dream of some sort before Jesus was even arrested, before he was crucified, and before he died. Candace is saying that a person who is deceased and has been deceased for at least 2 weeks came to her in a vision. That is not the same thing. This is getting weird.
You're like, whatever, I'm doing my work right now.
I'm very shallow, so someone who's amusing or fun to have dinner with, you know, I just get swept. I like that guy. You know what I mean?
You're like, Barabbas was amazing on that podcast. I gotta have him on these.
Thank you, GS.
It's actually really funny because I'm recapping conversations that I've had with Tucker where I'm like, I don't know why you trust that person at all. He's obviously a bad guy. And he's like, really, I like him. But really nice.
But this is exactly what I'm saying right here, GS70. Okay, all I know is if you speak to a dead person, it's a demon or devil against God according to the Bible. That's what I'm saying. What's going on, Ken? What's going on, Sabrina? Thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. I mean, I'm trying to, you know, as a Christian here, I don't recall someone dead coming to me in anything, in any vision. That's why I asked, is that normal? and the example here of Pontius Pilate's wife was before Jesus died, before he was even arrested. Candace is saying a deceased person came to her in a vision. How does that biblically align with that being a message from God or anything? You know, it was a message from him. It's not the same thing. It doesn't make sense. That one is not the same thing, but you can't expect Candace to make sense to you. No, I don't. But it's almost spiritually, it's like harrowing almost. It's really like I guess we're gonna have to just pray as we listen to this, because you know, Jesus cover our mind and ears and eyes, because I don't know what else to make out of this other than something, you know, being very evil and sinister like.
Dinner with him. Anyways, obviously what they're accurately describing, I should say, Jesus. Especially between a husband and a wife, definitely my relationship with my husband, I can say that from almost the very moment that I learned that Charlie was not going to make it, I said to George through tears that he was betrayed. And now we're all just sort of on this journey to find out by who. So I released a text message yesterday, dropped it on the world, and it caused, and this is putting it mildly, a lot of panic. As I said, the chatter on X was top tier. Emphasis on the tier, because there were a lot of them being shed by everyone who was discounting me. She's this, she's that, she's lying. Charlie never changed his mind. He was committed to Israel to the day he died. In fact, he almost died for Israel. That was the vibe they were putting down, and I was getting angrier and angrier and angrier. But self-control always pays off. There were moments on X.
I'm sorry. Candace has gone on this show And the day she found out she was being sued, she said, and I quote, "You were born a man and you will die a man." How is that self-control, Candace? How is that self-control? You do understand that these videos can and will be used against you in a court of law. And since you're in a civil proceeding, building that character is going to be fundamental for you. It's going to be used against you as well. You can't make this up. So as you all can see, her intuition of her feeling or belief that Charlie Kirk was betrayed was because he came to her in a vision and told her he was betrayed, even though he was deceased for more than 2 weeks. He didn't go to his wife. He didn't send a message to his kids where they would circle the words around in the Cheerio bowl. No, of all people, not his parents. He went to Candace, not his wife. Probably because his wife says her prayers at night and would not want the spirit of the dead person coming to her in a vision saying anything, because that might be demonic, Candace. That just might be demonic. I'm not saying you're demonic. I'm just saying the idea of the spirit of a deceased person coming to you, it might not be of God. You might want to pray about that and try that again. I don't know. I just I wouldn't call it that. But that's just me. That's just me. I follow the scripture here. As a Christian, I've had visions, but not from anyone deceased. And when you don't understand what the vision, what God is trying to tell you, the first thing you do is go to someone that can give you godly counsel and wisdom. First thing to do is to pray. You pray and ask God to give you guidance, to give you discernment, to help you interpret the vision of the dream. And then what God will do is he either put someone in your pathway, or he'll allow you to come across the scripture, or he'll allow someone to come along and give some level of confirmation. You might not even know that you had the dream, but they might say something to give confirmation to what God has given you in that dream. And you'll have confirmation on that. But the first thing you do is pray and ask God to give you, help you with the interpretation of it. But will God send someone that died to your vision? That's dead? Would he do that? I don't think so. I don't think so. I just, I don't know if God is going to allow someone to come to you in a vision that is deceased. I just, it gives me chills down my arms. Like it doesn't sit right with me. So I just, man, yeah, it's just me. I'm just, trying to. It's not gonna make sense. I warn her, it doesn't make sense. But Candace is in some dark stuff, especially the cursed land remarks. Oh my God, the cursed land, the cursed children. Man, listen, Bible speaks clearly on that. When you go out and wish condemnation or damnation upon someone else, you wishing it upon yourself. That's clear in the Bible. Histrionic, Yankee City Girl said. Araki says it might be her guilty conscience. Could be. Shannon said Candace exhibits zero self-control. Exactly. We all know she has no self-control. She's very impulsive. She says whatever comes up, comes out. She doesn't think twice about it. I mean, the fact that she has done an 8-part series accusing someone of being born a man and refuses to stop being defamatory with that, and shows she has no regard for laws or regard for the other person or how they feel or their family or anything. How she's handling Charlie Kirk's death. She does have no thoughts or remorse for how the wife feels. None. She's just saying whatever she feels, but she doesn't take it to the consideration. How would the wife, if the wife had to hear this, how would the wife take this? So it's insane. It's insane. So we're all here to see this court document. We've seen the text. You guys have seen the portion of the video where Candace Owens is trying to justify why she believes that, Charlie Kirk was betrayed, and what could possibly lead to someone being hit with a gag order. Now, what we got to establish is what was actually signed, what type of order was issued. So here it is, y'all. If you guys can see this, I'm going to make myself small and make this big. This is the actual, yes, the Macron effects. This is the actual order. I want to give a shout out to Andrea Burkhart. She's a fantastic content creator as well as an attorney. And she posted up, and I'm going to leave the link because I do have my resources when I research. And if you guys check the description of this video, you will see all the resources, the video links, the article links, things that I use in my videos. You will see those resources for you guys to go and read and research for yourselves. And even during a live, I will stop and Google and research something. The Lucksters understand that. We're about, reading and being factually correct. And if I give my commentary and opinion on it, I will tell you all that. This is my opinion versus here are the facts, here's the documentation, right? So if you go to the description of the video, you will see the resources and many links for you guys to read and grab information. But that is where you can find the actual order. And this is from Andrea Burkhart. She also has a video she's done. Did quite well in explaining the actual order. But we're going to read it and go over this right quick so we can figure out what the heck Candace is talking about. Because as you all can see here, it says protection order regarding pretrial and trial publicity. All right. So in the 4th Judicial District Court in and for Utah County, state of Utah, you have the state of Utah plaintiff versus Tyler James Robinson. Case number is 251-403-576. Judge is Tony F. Graff Jr. Defendant Tyler James Robinson is charged with 1 count of aggravated murder and other felonies. This case has generated and is likely to continue to generate significant pretrial and trial publicity. That publicity can compromise defendant Tyler James Robinson's right to due process of law, as well as both parties' rights to a fair and impartial jury trial. Pretrial publicity is of particular concern because it can taint the prospective jury pool. So this speaks to the information that is going out through the media that includes us here on YouTube, Candace Owens, and any and everyone that's speaking of the case. You have to be careful to not. What Candace has been doing is getting tips, talking about evidence that may or may not even exist, and actually saying the FBI, the DOJ don't know what they're doing. They're lying. They're not saying this. They're this evidence on this, as if she's conducting her own investigation. What I'm doing is reporting the information that's there. I don't have a reason to conjure up anything that I can't pull up and read for myself, that I cannot substantiate with a video or with an article or with the court documents itself. And so when you start to go off on a tangent like Candace is doing, the judge will, because this is a high profile case, say, listen, we have got to narrow it in because this is going to get a lot of attention, which means a lot of people are going to be talking about it. We got to be careful on what's being put out there, because when they go to select a jury, the jury is a jury of your peers. It's 12 people on a jury that are a jury of your peers. First question they're asked is, are you familiar with the case? And with it being so high profile and being reported on internationally, more than likely they're going to say, yeah, I've seen it in, a couple websites here and there, especially on YouTube or X or Instagram. It's being talked about on major social media platforms. It's in the news. It would be very difficult to select 12 members of a jury that has not heard anything about this case. But what you don't want is for the case itself to be so flooded and inundated with information that cannot be factually proven with documentation or evidence, or with witness testimony, because testimony is evidence, to the point where the jury is all sitting in here worried more about conspiracy theories, but not looking at the actual evidence itself related to the case. That is called a tainted jury. And if they can't see the facts and the evidence to either prove that he did or did not commit the crime, and with the criminal matter, the burden is to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. If there is a chance reasonable doubt can be invoked, more than likely, you're going to have somewhat of a hung jury. You could possibly have a hung jury. You might get, when it comes to the death penalty, you need all 12 to vote. You need every person to vote unanimously when it comes to voting for like the death penalty. You get one that says no and everybody says yes. Then they're not going to render that. So in certain charges where you need unanimous decisions made, if you can't get that unanimous decision, you end up with a hung jury. All because 2 or 3 people are influenced by what's being put out here in social media. Well, Candace said that there was a video where the suspect was walking with a female. Did y'all know that? Now, this is what they're talking about in the jury room, as opposed to the actual evidence they have presented in court. They're talking about what the hell Candace Owens said on her channel with no evidence. Where's the damn video, Candace? See, and there's some case law to support this. So I'm going to get to that in a second, but you guys can see now what this means when it comes to the aspect of a protection or a gag order. Even a gag order is a type of protection order, but we'll get to that in a second. Just want to read this order itself to you all so y'all can just see the order and see what's written in the order and what the judge signed. All right. To protect the parties' fundamental rights, the court, on its own motion, issues the following protection order. Lawyers who have participated, who are now participating, or who will yet participate in the investigation or litigation of this case in any way shall abide strictly by Rule 3.6 of the Utah Rules of Professional Conduct. Rule 3.6 prohibits a lawyer from making an extrajudicial statement that the lawyer knows or reasonably should know will be disseminated by means of public communication and will have a substantial likelihood of materially prejudicing an adjudicative proceeding in the matter. All right. So you're bringing in any information that could be significant and impact the case and cause some level of prejudice or invoke that reasonable doubt. So this is Utah Rules of Professional Conduct 3.6a. So let's get to, this is page 1. Here is page 2. And I just want to make sure everybody's with me so far. You understand so far what's going on. Let me know if you have questions. Put a 1 in the chat if you good. We can keep going because there's going to be some information here because this court stuff is boring. But the trick is to present it in a funny way. Unfortunately, Candace sucks the fun out of everything. She's saying the weirdest stuff that no one is trying to make sense of. I think it's a very dangerous thing to sit here and talk about dead people visiting you in your visions. I can't get past that. Candace is a wannabe gag order. I heard of it, but no evidence, that's for sure. But who knows? Yeah, she's the one that said that there's a video of the suspect walking with a female. Where's the video, Candace? That's all we want. We just want the evidence. If you got, and turn it over to the feds. Turn it over to the feds. You're already interfering. I wouldn't be surprised if she had a gag order issued against her, but she put it out there. Not me, not the YouTubers. She did that. Lawyers who have participated, who are now participating, or who will yet participate in the investigation or litigation of this case shall not intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly permit a witness, investigator. I want you all to look at each term they're using here. A witness. A witness doesn't always have to make it through to the trial. They could be a witness and be investigated or be questioned. Keep that in mind. A witness, investigator, consultant. Consultant could be anyone that the prosecutor or the defense hires. Like an expert witness testimony, or you go and get a DNA test done, or you get consultant that can help retrieve, some data on a hard drive. Consultant. Staff member or other member of the prosecution or defense team to make extrajudicial statements which, if made by the lawyer, would violate Rule 3.6. So they're saying you can't even permit, if you're the attorney, you can't even permit a witness, investigator, consultant, staff member, or any member of the prosecution or defense team to make any statements, because it would be as if it's being made by the lawyer. So they're holding the lawyers accountable for that. But you all see here who that all includes. So a witness could be someone in the media. A witness could be someone like Phil Lyman. What if Phil Lyman was a possible witness? Let's think about this for a second. And then Candace Owens puts Phil Lyman information out there. And then demands that he does an interview with her. And then questions something about his mother. And then goes after his cousin / nephew. But what if Phil Lyman was a witness? Or could become a potential witness? Now, what do you think she's doing when she's trying to drag this man all over her show? Sending the candy asses after him online with the cyber harassment and the bullying and the doxing. Wouldn't that be tampering with a witness? Wouldn't that be tampering? See, this is the possibility that the court is trying to eliminate. Because let's say he does become a witness or was at one point a witness. He can't go out and make statements that would be extrajudicial statements, because it would be as if, depending on who he's a witness for, whether it be the prosecution or the defense, more than likely, Phil Lyman was a friend to Charlie Kirk. He could have been a witness for the prosecution. Even if he's not going to be a witness in the testimony and giving testimony, he could have given statements. He could have been considered a witness when he went and spoke with the FBI and gave statements or an account of what he saw with his own eyes the day of the shooting. And here you have someone like Candace Owens talking about Phil Lyman, trying to get him to do an interview. He's being cyber harassed. He's being cyber bullied. His family is being cyber harassed and cyber bullied. That is the epitome of tampering with the witness. And would he owe Candace Owens an interview or conversation if he's considered to be a witness? No, he doesn't. And because of what he may or may not have shared with her, or what anyone else that she has hounded down in her so-called fake investigation may or may not have shared with her. What if the Department of Justice, the FBI, went to Candace Owens and asked her some questions? They could deem her to be a witness. Now, whether she makes it to the trial and gets on the stand doesn't necessarily have to occur for her to be considered a witness. Because now you're receiving information that could be pertinent to the case. So what if she's considered a witness? What if? I'm asking questions here. What if Candace Owens is now or has been considered a witness? What if she's been questioned? Because why else would she put this post out? So I personally wouldn't put out a post like that talking about a gag order if I have not been put in a position where the feds have not came to me and talked to me directly about something. Because more than likely, you get an order like this that's out, you would think it wouldn't even apply to you. Otherwise, why put out the post? This is what happens when you go out here trying to play pretend CIA. And then you end up becoming a witness, whether you like it or not. And now look, at any point in time if she was a witness. She cannot give any statements that would be considered extrajudicial that could be pertinent to the case. Or else it will be in violation of Rule 3.6. So just putting between her post together and what's in this order together, and then we're going to look up gag orders and the definition, the concept of that. It seems like Candace Owens may or may not have been a witness at some point. And the moment they sit you down, they can say, all right, well, we're going to consider you a witness in this to help us gather information. Or we just want you to, to answer some questions, to provide a statement of what you've been told from others who may have been witnesses. And you're interfering with that, Candace. You're putting people out there. You and the candy asses are cyber harassing and cyber stalking people. You're doxing people, which is a cyber crime. And you're doing this for what? Because it's not solving anything. You're not solving any crime, Candace. You're not solving the murder. You're putting yourself in a situation where you're talking about violating something that perhaps does apply to you. Because they may consider you to be a witness. And just because they're sick of your nonsense and you seemingly tampering with other witnesses, forcing them to do interviews with you, asking about Phil Lyman's mother. Why? His cousin had to eradicate 2 or 3 of his social media profiles because of the harassment. Companies and organizations dealing with pipes and all this other stuff you've put out there. You've accused whole countries, the Israeli Prime Minister, Josh Hammer. You don't think you're going to be questioned at some point, Candace, by the FBI? Because what your actions could lead to is interference and or possibly obstruction. So they will deem you to be a witness just so you can be applicable to this order. And that might be the reason why she made the post. Yep. So if that be the case, Candace, if this order applies to you, Candace, then I suggest you don't violate it. But if you do, you will be doing yourself a disservice. You have 4 children and a husband to think about. And if they're not that important to you, then go for it. Violate the order. We would love to witness a hearing where you're held in contempt. And you would have brought all of that upon yourself, Candace. Not me or any other content creator on YouTube forced you to do that. You did that to yourself. To that end, lawyers participating in the investigation or litigation of this case shall inform all witnesses, investigators, consultants, staff members, or other members of the prosecution or defense teams about the prohibitions contained in this order. This protection order applies to lawyers who are not participating in the investigation or litigation of this case, but who are associated with the Utah County Attorney's Office or associated with the defense counsel's firm or firms. See Utah Rule Professional Conduct 3.6, D as in dog. Court staff is also ordered to not make public statements that will violate the provisions of this order. This order does not prohibit lawyers from making statements permitted by Rule 3.6. See Utah Rules of Professional Conduct 3.6B as in boys, C as in cat. Dated this 16th day of September 2025. This was signed back on September 16th, 2025. It's October 21st, 2025. Candace posted her post on yesterday, October 20th. Is there by chance, Candace, that some FBI investigator of some sort or someone from the court had to call you and remind you there's a whole order in place and we're not afraid to use it? Yeah, that's the order. That's the order right there. So now you all can see who's all included. If Candace is a witness, or has been deemed a witness at any point throughout the investigation or trial phase of this matter, this would apply to her. She seems to be helping the damn defense get off because of the stuff that she's saying and doing that is very combative to what the FBI is trying to do and what investigators are trying to do, the prosecutor. But all they have to do is say, we're considering you as a witness. Problem solved. Yeah, that's it. Problem solved. We're considering you to be a witness. Now, here's the order. You might want to follow it. Or Candace Owens will be held to contempt. If you're a witness, Candace, you're not doing the world a favor. You're just going to have your kids wondering, why is mommy going to jail? Because they're going to have you, they're going to go for your neck, girl. You have been pissing off everybody, the CIA, the FBI, the Kosh Patel, the entire controversial, the U.S., Trump, the Macrons, Australia. You man, it's just a laundry list. So she can keep playing this game if she wants to, talking about she's going to be doing the world a favor. No thanks. No thanks. The Bible states that thou art to obey the laws of the land. Since when do we get to pick and choose which scriptures of the Bible we want to follow as Christians here? How does that go? You think you're above the rule of law? Oh, okay. Yeah. No, we'll consider you to be a witness. Yeah, so let's get to the next one. Here, this is just talking about a gag order. When can a gag order be issued by a court? Shout out to you, my mod Manny. Thank you for tuning in. How you doing? Shout out to LLC in the chat. Y'all, we're just reading the information and asking questions here. I would think Tatum knows more, was very active with Turning Point USA, but not Candace. Yeah, I heard of it, but no evidence, that's for sure, but who knows? Yeah, Candace just, like I said, she's walked herself right into a gag order. All they got to say is you're a witness to this. And that's it. She's done. Candace is mentally gone. What's going on, Bernice? She is gone. She's got 4 kids. She better find her way back, or else she's got a lot more to worry about than, what she's considering to be a gag order. Candace said no worries on gag order because she knows it does not apply to her. Ha. Yeah. All you got to be is a witness, Candace. All they got to say is we'll consider her to be a witness to the case. So that order applies. Y'all saw witness, consultant. More than likely she would fit the witness standard because she would have to be consultant. You would have to be hired on to do some work on either for the prosecutor or the defense. But they could just say you're a witness. We'll consider you to be a witness. That's it. Problem solved. She put this post out. So apparently they've talked to her or they've asked questions or they consider her as a witness for her to feel like this thing applies to her. Because that's the only way. She's not an attorney. She's not a member of the prosecution or the defense team. She doesn't work for the court. She's not staff. The only option that's feasible and that would make sense is her being a witness. That's according to the order. We read the order, y'all. I'm not making stuff up. Candace doesn't care. She is on a scorched earth mission. Exactly. She better start caring. So this information here, you guys, you can read about it. I just Googled, gag order online. A gag order is a court order issued directive that restricts individuals or groups from publicly discussing a legal case, formerly known as a non-dissemination order. Its purpose is to protect a defendant's constitutional right to a fair trial from widespread publicity. The order aims to prevent the spread of information that could prejudice a jury, intimidate witnesses. Y'all see this here? Intimidate witnesses, or otherwise undermine the administration of justice. Candace, you going around demanding information, wanting people to send you tips, talking about Phil Lyman, who knows else that could have been witnesses. Don't you think with your so-called forceful method, this man didn't want to do an interview with you? He didn't owe you that. No one owes you anything, Candace Owens, or your candy asses. You nor the candy asses are owed nothing. Just bless God that you get to breathe for another second and live on earth. But no one owes you anything. And you have cyber harassed and bullied and doxed people. You've committed cyber crimes where people are contemplating filing lawsuits against you. Josh Hammer wants to sue you for defamation. And you don't think somehow people who could be possible witnesses, especially if they were there and they witnessed Charlie Kirk being assassinated, you don't think they could be witnesses to the case? You don't think Phil Lyman at any point, or his nephew, anyone that was there with him, out retracing the shooter's steps, you don't think they would have been witnesses to the case? And you're sitting here trying to hound him down, get him to come on your show, having calls, having his cousin having to remove social media profile. That's called intimidation. So you cyber harass people into doing what you want, not caring that is considered intimidation. So while you're out intimidating witnesses, you could easily be named as a witness just so that order can apply to you. So that's what a gag order is for. It keeps you from intimidating other witnesses. You plan on violating it, Candace Owens? You're not that smart, girl. That judge will not give two shits how you feel. They won't care. The prosecution or the motion, whoever she's supposed to be a witness for. It seems like it will be for the defense because she seems to be helping the defense out. But I'm sure the prosecution wouldn't have a problem filing a motion for her to be held to contempt. And I'm very sure they would seek more than just a fine. Now, they're going to want you to sit in jail for a few days. Keep on playing with that court and that judge if you want to. The legal standard for issuing a gag order. A judge's decision to issue a gag order involves a constitutional balancing act between the First Amendment protection of free speech and the Sixth Amendment's guarantee of a fair trial, because the prosecution and defense both deserve to have a fair trial and not have Candace Owens walking around talking about the FBI is cutting out video evidence footage that shows the suspect walking with a woman, and she can't produce the video evidence. Or her hounding and intimidating witnesses that witnessed the actual act for themselves in person, that want to participate, but now are so deterred because of Candace Owens that is causing an interference of that information to flow from the witness to the prosecution or to the investigators. It's obstructing that from happening. That is the epitome of obstruction of justice. So keep playing with the courts, Candace Owens. They're going to play with you right back. And you're not going to like their fair play. Now, that judge that signed it, he is not playing with you. Period. A judge must determine if public commentary poses a genuine threat to the legal process. You know, because saying that there are video evidence out here that the FBI has not presented to everybody, will probably be threatening. Oh, God. It will be material to the case, and it will actually hurt the case. With you saying all this doubt that, there are questions that have been asked by everybody. But you sitting here cyber harassing, stalking, and doxing people, that's some shit. That we don't dox. We don't do that. We don't cyber harass people. You're not going to get them to do anything. You're not going to force someone to bend to your will. That's not how it works. There are laws in place for that. Doxing is intolerable. Me personally, I just report shit. Keep living. But cyber harassing a witness that already witnessed something horrific. Phil Lyman was there. He saw it in person. Candace Owens, you weren't. So keep playing with the court. They're going to play with you right back. The Supreme Court considers such restrictions a prior restraint on speech, which is presumed unconstitutional, placing a heavy burden on the party requesting the order. To justify a gag order, the court must find a substantial likelihood that public comments would materially prejudice the case. This means there is a real probability that publicity could taint the jury pool or prevent a just outcome. The judge must also conclude that the order is the least restrictive means available to prevent the harm after considering alternatives like changing the trial venue or sequestering the jury. So they haven't gotten to the phase of the case where they have even selected a jury yet. I do believe it's getting to that point, but they haven't gotten to that phase yet. So more than likely, they don't want to pick a jury that's been tainted to the point where they're believing more of Candace Owens' conspiracy theories and not the actual evidence that they have in front of them that is here on earth in this reality. In Nebraska Press Association v. Stewart, the Supreme Court outlined a test for orders restricting the press, considering the extent of news coverage, other available measures, and the order's likely effectiveness. While the standard for trial participants is less rigid than for the media, the restriction must be narrowly tailored to address a specific threat to the trial's fairness. And then, of course, types of cases where orders are more gag orders are common in high-profile criminal cases like this one. So I'm going to copy and paste this link here. You guys can read the rest of the information for yourselves, because here in the Lady Luck Club, we do have facts and evidence and documentation. So there is Supreme Court ruling. Yep. So the Nebraska Press Association v. Stewart, 1976. The Supreme Court's decision in the Nebraska Press Association, I'm just going to say NPA v. Stewart, established that prior restraints on the press are unconstitutional, reinforcing the First Amendment's protection of freedom of press. In 1975, a high-profile murder case in Sutherland, Nebraska involved the accused Aaron Simmons attracted significant media attention. Concerned about the potential impact of pretrial publicity on the defendant's right to a fair trial, Nebraska State Trial Judge Hugh Stewart issued a gag order restricting the press from publishing or broadcasting accounts of confessions made by the accused or other implicative facts. This order was modified by the Nebraska Supreme Court, but still imposed significant restrictions on media coverage. So the Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision delivered on June 30th, 1976, ruled that the trial judge's order constituted an unconstitutional prior restraint on the press. Chief Justice Warren E. Burger emphasized that while the right to a fair trial is important, the barriers to imposing prior restraints on the press are high. The court held that the First Amendment protects the press from such restrictions, even in cases of intense pretrial publicity. So with the order that we read here, let's say, I'm going to go back to it. Let's say this is challenged by a higher level court. I haven't seen anything where this has been challenged. But let's just say this is challenged by a higher level court. Then that challenge, that appeal, would have to overrule or overturn or vacate this order here. So far, this order has not been vacated, and it's been in effect since September 16th of 2025. This is the protection order. Here's 2 pages. And it does specifically state, based on Court Rule 3.6, it gives a specific, like the gag order says, it has to be outlined to be specific or narrowly tailored right here. It must be narrowly tailored to address a specific threat to the trial's fairness. So what they tried to do was address that by pointing out to a specific rule. So what they're saying is the attorneys who are responsible for gathering the case together and representing the state versus the defendant in the matter, we're going to put the onus on them. We're going to say, overall, if the attorneys, based on this rule, go out and make any extrajudicial statement that the lawyer knows or reasonably should know will be disseminated by means of public communication and will have a substantial likelihood of materially prejudicing an adjudicative proceeding in this matter, or it includes, and here's the second page here, lawyers who have participated, are now participating, or who will yet participate in the investigation or litigation of this case shall not intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly permit. See here, This is where they're putting the onus on the attorneys. You do not even permit a witness, investigator, consultant, staff member, or other member of the prosecution or the defense team to make such statements as if made by the lawyer that would violate Rule 3.6. So they narrowed it down to this specific professional standard rule. And it's the professional conduct for attorneys, as far as how they should handle information being released out regarding a criminal investigation, the trial, evidence, and any of those things, because it could possibly taint the jury pool, or it could cause the due process rights to be impeded. If Candace is considered a witness, that is how this order would be applicable to her. And this is based on her post. She posted this up about a gag order. She posted up the post about a gag order. No one else posted that up but her. No one told her to do that. She posted it up. This order was signed September 16th. Why would Candace wait until October 20th to make that post? Give me your thoughts in the chat. Why would Candace wait, knowing that this order was signed September 16th? Y'all see it right here. It's a little faint, but it's there. Why would she wait till October 20th to put up that post on Twitter X? Tell me. Holler at me in the chat. Seriously. Why would Candace wait over a month to post this post up? This is what she posted up. Let me pull it up. I didn't post this. Candace posted this. She put this up. Why would she wait till October 20th to say this? October 19th. I'm sorry. October 19th at 10:21 p.m. My apologies. I was off by a date. October 19th. From an order signed by the judge on September 16th. Why would she post this up? Who told her to do that? Come on, Candace. Who told her to do that? Who told her to do it? I want to know. Who told her to do this? A month after the court order was signed, she makes this post. Come on. Y'all tell me. I don't know, frankly. Did it stop? It was stop. I don't know. What are you talking about? Diane said, did Candace know Tyler? She's not a witness. She could be. What if they considered her to be a witness? It doesn't mean she witnessed the death. She could be a witness to some information that's been shared. They could consider her a witness just simply because they want to ask her some questions. She could be a witness to the video evidence that's been submitted to the FBI that they plan on using in the case. She went out and said she got a tip. Oh, the suspect, there's video evidence that the FBI has not released out. The suspect's walking with a woman. Didn't she say that in her podcast? They can see you a witness just to ask you questions. That's not limited to you actually witnessing the murder. Where is she anyway? I don't know. She's been gone for a week and a half. Has anyone seen her? I hope her husband and her kids. What's going on, J.E. Prodigal son? By the way, I shout out to you. Shout out to you. Frankly, up in here, it's against the Constitution. I read the case law. It has to be narrowed down, and they did that. And this order has not been challenged in the higher level court. So far, this order is in effect. Sorry, frankly. Oh, where is her husband? Who knows? I thought he and Erica Kirk were the only two people that could tell Candace to shut up. When is that going to happen? Candace, when is your husband going to tell you? George Farmer? Where's George Farmer? George Farmer, are you there? This is Lady Luck Club. At what point are you going to tell Candace to shut up? Is that ever going to happen? Are you ever going to tell Candace to shut up? What are we doing here? I thought it was only Charlie, Erica Kirk, and George that could tell her to shut up. No, is this never going to happen? You're just going to let her run wild. Mania, exactly. Playing psychology with those actually on gag order. No one else is accused of the murder of Charlie Kirk. Doesn't matter who's accused. They can consider her to be a witness. Anyone they want to ask questions to can consider to be a witness. Especially if she's saying she has her hands on evidence that could be material to the case. Y'all, Candace Owens keeps putting her own foot in her mouth. If she believes that she's in possession or she's receiving any evidence or proof that could be material to the case, she's already talked about video footage that was submitted over to the FBI, which shows the suspect walking down the street, but she's saying someone was paid to give her a tip, which to me, I wouldn't even relate, because someone paying to give me a tip, like if you tell me someone was paid me to tell you this, I'm going to be like, that's not credible to me. You could just be telling me this because someone just paid you to say it. I'm not even going to pay that two seconds of attention, because it's called integrity in my journalism here. But she's saying there's a video that the FBI has not shown, or they proctored, that cuts out the suspect walking with the woman. That could be material to the case. So if she's going to invoke herself into this, they could go to her, ask her some questions, and say, we consider you to be a witness. Then guess what? That would apply under that order. Witness as far as either the prosecution or defense, doesn't matter. The order says either one. And if you are considered a witness, you're bound by that order, as if you were an attorney under the Rule 3.6. We're reading it as is. I'm not making it up. That order has not been challenged in the higher level court. So far, that order is still in effect. So if Candace is a witness, then more than likely, this is why she believes the gag order will apply to her. Because who would want that type of attention upon themselves, aside from Candace, if you're not a witness? And I've read the court order. If you're not a witness, because she wouldn't fit the other standards here. Let's go back to the order. She wouldn't fit the other standards here. It was a whole lot of titles they named here. We're going on facts, you all. That's how we roll here in the Lady Luck Club. So y'all see here, a witness, investigator, consultant, staff member, or other member of the prosecution or defense team to make extrajudicial statements, which, if made by the lawyer, would violate 3.6, Rule 3.6. So they're considering any statements from these individuals to be seen as if it's statements from the lawyer, from the prosecution or the defense team. So ultimately, the attorneys are being held responsible for all of these people here on both sides. And if all they have to say is, we'll consider you to be a witness to the case, because maybe she's gotten some evidence that could be material to the case, then she would be bound by this order. That's still in effect since September 16th, 2025. If it's being challenged, then I will go over the case. But so far, there is no order that has been signed by a higher level court that renders this order to be vacated. So this order is in effect. That's the reality of it. So that you all see this. This is it. This is it. Obviously, Candace is either implying that she's a witness of some sort, Or perhaps maybe she's been approached as having obstructed because she keeps intimidating witnesses, going after people who got, older males with long hair that can be put up in a ponytail or a bun, a man bun. Y'all remember that video? This is what she's doing to herself. No one told Candace to post up that post a month later. But she did. And she plans on violating it. And you violate a court order, that's grounds for you to be held in contempt. Yeah, go ahead and violate it, Candace. That would not hurt my feelings at all. The candy asses would be highly disappointed, but that would not hurt my feelings, not even one little bit. All right? You all are seeing this for yourself. This is the hope. When I come correct. Understand, there's a whole bunch of resources I have in the description of this video where you guys can go and read and get this information in for yourself. But this is it. Gag orders are specific, types of protection orders. Or a restraint order. A restraint is like stopping you, mandating you from doing something or saying something. Gag orders is specifically, restraining you or stopping you from saying something. And then protection orders is typically, when there's some sort of threat of physical bodily harm or injury to be done. So there is a protection order in place as well, but it's kind of standard and automatic when it comes to a murder trial. The suspect or the defendants are ordered to stay away from the family, their relatives, anyone else. It's just kind of automatic. You don't expect the defendant to be able to, if they make bail, to go out. They just got accused or charged with murdering someone, and they go out and then they go around all the family members. No. So that was kind of standard for them to have that protection order put in place for Erica Kirk and the kids, considering that this is a murder trial. So, but this specific order, it deals with, okay, let's make sure people aren't running around here intimidating witnesses or saying dumb shit. And it's still in effect. You can call it what you want, but only the judge in the court of law is going to be able to determine whether or not it's so-called unconstitutional. And if they want to use the case law, I pulled up case law that speaks to it being typically these being unconstitutional if it's not narrowed and tailored to address a specific threat to the trial's fairness, or if there's a chance of it tainting the jury. Do you want a jury of people going in talking about, y'all see Candace Owens' video yesterday? She said this, and this, and I believe her. Like, do you really want that in your jury? Never mind all the evidence that they have in this reality in front of them. You don't want people going into the jury on conspiracy theories, because candy asses and honeybees. You don't want that. You want a jury that can be impartial, that can fairly look at the evidence, listen to the testimony, and to be able to help decide a ruling. This is going to be a murder trial where they're seeking the death penalty here. And Candace seems to be sitting here trying to help the defense. So if he didn't do it, who did it? Because otherwise, so far the evidence is pointing to him. I'm still waiting on her to put that video of him walking with a female. Where's that video at? So she plans on violating this gag order she feels pertains to her because she said it, not me. We read her text. And this order has been in effect for an entire month. Then let her be held in contempt. Go ahead and violate the order. Go violate the order, Candace. Violate that order. Yeah, no, you won't be doing the world a favor like you think. Violate that damn order, girl. Because then it would question the impartiality of the courts. Oh, she gets to violate it and nothing happens, but yet these people can and they go to jail for 30 days. What the hell? This is like a warning message to the attorneys. Be careful what you say, because it could taint the jury. It could interfere with someone's due process rights. And we don't have time for your nonsense. And when they say extrajudicial, you're saying basic statements that could be material to the case. And if you guys don't believe me, you can Google definition of the term extrajudicial. But we're reading documents. Miss Fig says she asserted herself by probing and saying she knows I know, but I don't know, you know. Yeah, you know, because you don't know, and you don't know, but you know, I do know, but I don't know. Somehow I know. I don't know what I know. Girl, bye. Oh man. J.E. Prodigal Son said, is that a public doc? Yes. Yes. This court document here. I'm gonna drop the link again. Shout out to Andrea Burkhart. She's an attorney. This is on her Substack. Make sure you guys show them some love. She also did a video. She went over the order as well as the same case law that I pulled up. It was the best case law I could find, just, you know, to have some neutrality for the candy asses, because, you know, they get riled up. But at the end of the day, there's nothing overriding this order, so it's still in effect. This order's in effect. And don't we believe that we should follow the laws of the land? Isn't that what we believe as Christians? Yeah, we do. That's funny. 1A is nothing in courts. Okay. Candace asking people to send her videos and information without sending it to the feds is bordering obstruction or maybe tampering with evidence. Yeah, it's definitely obstruction because she's getting it. And this could be evidence that could be material to the case, meaning that this evidence would definitely determine how this case flows. It could either break or win the case or break the case. It could do one or the other. When they say material, meaning it is highly significant to the case. So, like that with that video, the suspect walking with a female. Okay, that would be material because that could imply that someone was a co-conspirator, that he was with someone. And with him saying he acted alone, then he will be lying. So with her saying the things she says and does, yeah, it could be, depending on the type of evidence we're looking at here, that could be considered material. Yes, it could definitely be obstructive. Intimidating witnesses, obstruction. That's what obstruction of justice includes. It's witness tampering, evidence tampering, intimidation of witnesses. All of that falls under obstruction. So Candace Owens is out here doing the most. He probably has, but she's probably said, no, you shut up. What George? George telling her, deal. Will you just come for tea and cakes, huh? Can you sit down for tea and cakes with me and the children? No! Because I know what I know, George. I know what I know, but I don't know, but I know, you know? He's probably like walking around with a sign like, help me. Poor baby. George, it's okay. You know, next time you're in front of the camera, just pull down on your right ear. That'll let me know you need help. Yeah. Candace, don't make us have to rescue George out that damn house, girl. Shut up. Diane said drug addicts. Oh, God. Chad said hopefully they put her in jail. That could be it, because this is a high-profile murder trial. And look how much she has done in the last month regarding this investigation. Y'all, she's been at it every day since he died up until last week. There's a reason why this girl is out missing in action. There's a reason. Yeah, look at her say, yeah, oh, you're a witness now. Yeah, go ahead and go out there and say some stupid shit. We want you. We dare you, girl. Girl. The judge's order is in effect, Candace. She says she plans on violating it. Yeah, we all plan on watching that hearing of you being held in contempt. Let that happen, Candace. Let that happen. You're gonna have to lose many more days. All that money you making from these videos and all those likes and views and those supers and all that other stuff, yeah, it's going straight to bail money. Stop playing with the courts, Candace. They are not for play. That judge is not in the mood for your nonsense. You can't go to court and act as if you're on your YouTube channel. You can't do that. You go in there, you piss off that judge if you want to, when their signature has more power than your words. All they got to do is sign something and say, this is law. Follow it if you want, break it if you want, and you'll see what happens. It's so crazy. She could risk spending, if she's held in contempt of court, she could risk spending 90 days in jail. 90 days in jail. As a matter of fact, I'll look it up. We'll look it up. If she's held in, what is a contempt? Fines for prison time. Jail time for contempt of court order in Utah. All right, let's see here. 30 days. Y'all see that? Jail time for contempt of court order in Utah. In Utah, jail time for contempt of court can vary based on the severity of the offense and the type of contempt. Here are the key points regarding jail time for contempt of court in Utah. Direct contempt. This occurs in the judge's presence and can be addressed immediately. It may result in jail sentence of up to 30 days. Indirect contempt. This happens outside the courtroom and requires additional legal proceedings. So she would get a hearing. It could lead to misdemeanor charges, which may carry penalties of up to 6 months in jail. Candace, do you really want to violate that order? Justice court judges. If a contempt charge is brought by a justice court judge or court commissioner, the jail sentence is limited to 5 days and the fine is limited to $500. This is a district court, I think. U.S. District Court. Yep. District Court judge. Right here. Judge Tony F. Graff, judge, district court judge. So a justice court. Okay, no, that's district. That district court is higher. So yeah, no, she could look. She can look up to 6 months. Candace, go ahead and violate that order, girl. Violate the girl. Candace, please violate that order. You'll be all right. You'll be held in indirect contempt. You'll get a hearing, but you've already put it out there yourself in a post. That's premeditated. Why do you all think I titled the video that? Candace Owens premeditated violation of a gag order. That would be premeditated. You're saying you're going to do it. How do you think that would help you if you had a hearing for contempt charges, Candace Owens? Your attorneys have to be pulling out their hair by the scalp. Like, why is she my client? Why, Jesus? Like, you cannot make this up. Candace, you're the one choosing to do this. No one told you to put up that post but you and maybe the devil. I don't know. Some spirit is coming to you in your sleep because it can't be Charlie. Charlie would tell you, you need to obey the laws of the land. That is in the word of God. I don't know what else to say about that. Like, why would you want to put up a post saying you're going to violate it? She thinks everything is about free speech. And no, it's not how. Oh, this is free speech. You have the right to free speech. It is part of your responsibility to use this free speech wisely. It shouldn't infringe upon the rights of others. Your free speech could also cause someone's due process rights to be significantly hindered or altered. Your free speech does not have the right to infringe upon the freedom and the protections of someone else. Period. It just doesn't. Your rights should not trample over someone else's rights. It should be equal in the eyes of the law. But when you start thinking your rights rises above someone else's rights, we have a problem here. And the courts don't mind putting your ass in check. They will put you in check, girl. And that judge, he is not playing with you, Candace. He's not playing with you. He's not. He's not playing with you. So, let's see here. Timu CK's ball. It's so hard. You're funny. That's a lie. Someone said a woman with him. It's a walking path for students in the public hearsay. Exactly. Like that. Where is the video? She said there's a video that is out there, but the FBI is not trying to release it. That's how she put it. It's like they received the full video, but they cut it down. Did they really? Candace, Oh, that would be material to the case. Don't you think that the FBI and the prosecution would want a video showing him walking with someone when he has said he was by himself? Because then he would be lying in the investigation. That could be possible perjury. You can't just make stuff up. That's what's so crazy about this. Oh man. No YouTuber is under a gag order. Imagine all the conspiracy channels still doing what they do best. Yeah, well, if she's a witness, she is. If she's a witness, she is. And she wants to go out here and play CIA detective. Yeah, good luck to that girl. Oh man, she viewed that footage from the camera that was behind Charlie. She said someone let her see it over a Zoom call. Really? That video is public and never should have been shared with her. Is it public or private? What's going on, S-Files? I'm sorry, I didn't even speak to you. How you doing? You good? Is that video private? Was it given to the fans? I remember her saying something about somebody from Turning Point USA taking down a camera that was behind Charlie. But that video, from my understanding, was turned over to the prosecutor, to the investigators. And then she got upset because they turned it over and she was like, we don't trust the feds. We don't trust the feds. What do you mean? No, you don't trust the feds, but you don't. That's where this obstruction thing comes into play as well. You have video evidence that have been turned over to the investigator, more than likely for the prosecutor to use. And you're saying that shouldn't happen because you don't trust the feds. What are you talking about? We don't care. The judge didn't care when he signed his order either. He said, yeah, try me. If you're a witness, Candace, try him. Please try him. Why else would she put up that post? I'm just asking questions here. Candace, I'm just asking questions here. Why else would you put up that post unless someone is deemed you to be a witness? Why else? Because a month later, now you all of a sudden talking about a gag order out of nowhere. Mighty funny. Mighty funny. I don't find that odd. I find that very odd. It's very it's very strange to me. I gotta get my Candace on. It's very strange to me. It doesn't make sense. Candace Owens posts up a post saying she is going to, don't worry about the gag order in the Charlie Kirk case. I plan to violate it on the world's behalf. You know, like she's somebody's savior. Like she's God or above the rule of law. The things I've discovered this past week are enough to burn the house down. While the judge is saying, you got to get it past the courts. Yes, Charlie was betrayed by everyone. Candace, violate that order if you want to, girl. If you're a witness, violate it. Child boo. Yeah, it should have never been shared with her if they sent it over to the prosecutor or to the investigators. Yeah, okay. You said Owens is a witness. What happened to Fran's stuff? Who knows? That case is still sitting in court, by the way, people. It's not gone anywhere. The court case for the Macrons, oh no, that's not gone anywhere. It's still open and pending and active, very much active. She took a 10-day break. Maybe something happened with that too. But I'm saying there's a possibility if she's posting a post saying something about a gag order, the only way it would apply to Candace Owens is if she has been deemed a witness. Because otherwise, she's not an attorney. She's not a consultant. She's not a, what you guys see here. She's not an investigator. She's not a consultant or staff member or any member of the prosecution or defense team. So the only option that would even make sense would be a witness. So she's been deemed a witness, then that's the only way this order could pertain to her. And that's just putting two and two together between her post and this order. Because why else would she post it? It's so stupid to post something like that if you have nothing to do with it. But apparently, someone has made her a witness. That's just my logical deduction. I could be wrong. I'm asking a question. I'm just asking questions, Candace. You can answer the questions. Unhinged people will act on her own insanity. This is very dangerous. It is. She'll find out. Violate the court order, girl. Pro snipers making vids, no gag order, using narrative with evidence regarding Charlie's incident. I'm sure that the prosecutors and the investigators are reviewing. They watch YouTube as well, but they're making vids on scenarios here. I mean, their videos wouldn't matter. It wouldn't be material to the case because you would have to have the prosecution would either have to draft on their own expert, like sharpshooters or whatever, to recreate the scene, or even the defense. So let's say a couple people who made those videos, those pro snipers, actually are consulted. Yet they're considered consultants, and they're hired by the prosecution or the defense to recreate it. Then they would be under the direction of this order. Because what they will be doing now is recreating what happened, which would be material to the case. I still have questions about how the gun got on the roof. We have logical questions here, but I'm not making assumptions about something that's outside of what's in the indictment. I'm not going beyond what has been presented to me in documentation. And recreating just to test the theory of the power of the weapon or the bullet or anything like that, you know, I don't see that being material. I just seeing that as someone testing the validity of the strength of the bullet in the gun. However, if these people are brought on and hired as consultants to do that, then that would change the game as far as what they will be bound to say and not say. But if Candace is a witness, is all I'm saying. She's the one that posted up the post talking about a gag order. So the only way it would apply to her is if she has been deemed a witness. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying she has been. I'm saying, why would she post the post? One, if she has nothing to do with this order. Why even post it if she has nothing to do with it? It's like she's telling on herself. She's like she's screaming, yeah, I want to be a part of this. Why? Why, girl? You can't make this stuff up. So if she's involved, the only way that order would relate to her is if she has been deemed a witness. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying she is. That's just what I'm deriving between the post and the order. Because otherwise, most people would not even want to tell people they're affiliated with this like that. Like, and then talking about you going to violate something. Girl, bye, Felicia. Hey, bye, Felicia. Yeah, go ahead and violate it, girl. Yeah, go ahead. Find out. I think she's just being dramatic, trying to look like a badass. I hope I can say that word. Yeah, you're good. You're good. And then you guys see, here's the link to the actual gag order. You can read for yourselves. Shout out to Andrea Burkhart. She's an attorney. She went over. She has a 2-hour plus video on YouTube as well. I suggest you guys go and check out her video. She has a great breakdown. I'm one where I will listen to an attorney give a breakdown. So I've seen the majority of her video just to get an understanding of it, and then use the same case law she used in her video, because that's how I understood the interpretation of that law. But this order is still in effect because it has not been challenged in no higher level court. It has not been appealed, and the Utah Supreme Court has not vacated this order. So it's still in effect. So I'm just stating the facts here. If there's been a hearing or if there is something that has been filed to challenge this order, then please send me the information, because I haven't seen it. And I will I typically do those things to make sure I cover all my bases. All right. So that's the link to that. Her Substack is there with this order. It's 2 pages. Diane said, burning fee for investigation. Oh, man. George once heard a real nice cup of tea. Girl, go make him a sandwich. Candace said, she wrote a book, said, make him a sandwich. Candace, go make George a sandwich. Okay. If he gives me any sign that he wants out, George, we will get you out that house, bro. You got to make sure the kids somewhere safe. It's for him. She's got a baby to attend to. Like, what are you doing, Candace? What are you thinking, Candace? You're going to violate the order with 4 children. You can't go to court. You can't be a badass on X and then go to court and cry to me, you have children. I have babies. I marry him. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean it. We stop you. That judge gonna say, go give her a 5-minute break. Then she can come back while we finish up this hearing. Gonna be studying her ass. Because you don't put out posts like that, Candace. You going to challenge a U.S. district judge is not the way to go to show anybody you're a badass. That's not how we do. That is not how we do, Candace. Y'all, you can't make this stuff up. Frankly, say you need to go to law school. I'm schooled out, frankly. I'm gonna be honest. I got a master's degree. That's enough. I'm done. No more school. I'm good with school. Let's see. Hopefully, medicine adjustments. You know, she's been out for what 10 days. She better do something. Candace, you gotta have to stop playing with the courts. The courts are not for play. They do have power. All right. One day is like 1 year in jail. You think Candy could do 30 days in jail? She could. She could. Y'all see? Listen, let me show y'all again. Hold on. I had pulled it up. My bad. Hold on. Let me go back. Jail time. Okay. Let me go back. Y'all see here? For indirect contempt. This happens outside the courtroom. So if she violates the order, it won't be in the presence of the judge. So it's outside the courtroom. And then she'll get the prosecutor or the defense. They'll file a motion or a petition for contempt. And then it'll lead to a hearing. So then she'll get a hearing, because due process. And then, of course, depending on the charges, severity of it, could lead up to penalties that include 6 months in jail. Y'all see that here? That could carry penalties of up to 6 months in jail. Candace, please violate that order. You got 4 kids, girl. 4 kids. 4 children. Stop playing with the courts. Stop playing with the courts. Candace has gone underground. Haven't you heard? She probably has. She's been gone for 10 days. I said, frankly, you say you don't care if LLC said and says, oh, frankly loves me. Send me a heart in the chat, friend. Y'all, Jesus loves the trolls as well. We got to let him in. Candace doesn't have evidence. She's not under a gag order. She may or may not. Maybe she's had access to it or seen it. Diane, I don't know. She shouldn't be making that post either. If she doesn't want to have anything to do with it, don't put up a post and announce you're going to violate it. Y'all see? Do y'all understand why that's not a good thing to put up that type of post and dog whistle to the court? You're going to violate something if you don't have anything to do with it. They don't want you to be involved if you're not involved. But don't sit here and dog whistle, sending out a post talking about, don't worry about that gag order. I plan on violating it. Oh, so you're bound by the gag order? That's the first thing people are going to say. And in what way? So the first thing I naturally think to do is read the order. If she has been deemed a witness, whether she's seen evidence or not, and they've asked questions about certain type, it could have been about another witness. It could have been about a possible witness like Phil Lyman or somebody. Well, she's tampering with them, or her trying to watch videos from Turning Point USA. It could have been that. Whether she has it in her possession is irrelevant. If she sees some video footage that has been turned over to the feds or to the prosecutor, the investigator that's going to give it to the prosecutor, the fact that she has been a testament to seeing this and witnessed it, they would consider her a witness and ask her questions about it. Candace is the one sitting here contacting people at Turning Point USA about everything. She's the one making videos saying, I have connections at Turning Point USA. I'm kind of like the grandfather there. I'm a Mason. That's what she said. I'm a Mason at Turning Point. Oh, okay. And then attorneys are just writing that shit down. Like, you're telling on yourself. And then this post she did, that just kind of seals the deal. It's like, okay, chef's kiss. Thank you. Because you would not even want to connect yourself to a gag order unless you're bound by it. And if she's doing this as a joke, then she really messing herself up, because now you're pissing off the court too. Because you're out here sending this misleading perception that somehow you're bound by a gag order when you're not. That's a bad thing to do as well. I don't really see her coming out of this without getting popped on the hand at some point. Come on. Candace needs to knock it off. She's too old for this. She got 4 kids. The S-File said, I think George just hides in his office. She's making people pay $16.99 to listen. Well, where's my $16.99, Franklin? The Meraki's, they are waiting for someone to pay attention to them. Candace says, doing 60 days with them, female kilos in jail, not worth it. Exactly. If a law goes against the Bible, then a Christian is not obligated to obey. Oh, is that what you think? Okay. MB Burke. Hi, y'all. I am hour behind. We had to do birthday in our home. Hearts, love. Thank you so much. Hit the like button for me. When the law is for our good, then we obey. Laws are laws. You got to obey them, whether you like them or not. There are a lot of laws I don't like. You gotta follow the law. Gotta follow the law. Candace is going to end up testifying for the defense. Exactly. She's gonna be their best witness because she is just throwing all kinds of curveballs to help the defense, not the prosecution. She's pissing off the prosecution. They probably deemed her a witness because she pissing them off. If anybody deemed her a witness, it's certainly the prosecution because she's making them mad. Girl, stop contacting Turning Point USA with evidence, Candace Owens. And whatever you think you have to burn the house down, prosecutors like, yep, fair game. Bring it here. You see how easy it is for somebody to look at you and say you're a witness. Stop playing games with the court, Candace. That's not it. Oh man, Candace is Rosa Parks, is she? No, God. Chabu. Candace ain't probably never been on a bus. MB Burke. Hello. I mean, it is public. Okay, gotcha. S-Files. Gotcha. No worries. Everybody speak to everybody. Rosa Parks worked for the NAACP when she was on the bus. Exactly. Come on. I'm not comparing Candace Owens to Rosa Parks. No. Let's go. Monica said, didn't she also say she had some info from the autopsy? She said, yes. She said she spoke with someone that has direct connection to the autopsy report. And then that's when she said, I can confirm that Charlie was shot from the front. All the videos of him being shot can confirm that. She didn't break anything that was like new or different. How many videos are out there? I actually have raw footage that was posted up and I actually did a short on it from the person that was there. Raw footage. And you see everything. It's like it clearly comes in from the front. Duh. You had witnesses, people that were there in person. Candace Owens cannot just exist in her alternate reality as if real human beings were not there in this reality on Earth in person watching him get shot. You can't forget all those people. Those are real eyewitnesses. So she's just not figuring out he was shot from the front. That's not a secret, Candace. That's known information. It's just what I'm curious to know is how did the gun get on the roof when the cameras didn't pick it up? Like that. That's just questions I've asked. But I'm not making an assumption with it. I'm asking a question because it was missing in the indictment. I've gone over the indictment. I have some other documents I'm going to show tomorrow. In a separate video of a security, it's like a security assessment profile they did on Tyler Robinson. I mean, there's information out there I've gone over, and I mean, still same questions here, but I'm not trying to imply anything that I've seen any evidence or any of that. You don't need to do that. To just report on the information itself. That's where she's out here calling Turning Point USA like she owns the company, like Erica Kirk doesn't exist. And I'm sure Erica Kirk had to say, stop answering phone calls for Candace Owens. I'm not in the mood. This is my husband's death we're talking about. Why is she calling all of you all? Candace is acting as if she runs the company. And that's not a good thing because she doesn't care about the feds. She doesn't trust them, remember? That's what's so crazy about this. So, Y'all see here, if she's held in contempt, she might be looking at up to 6 months in jail in direct contempt. Candace, you putting out a post saying you're going to violate it. The court said, oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll be waiting on your ass. Let me go to this docket for the Macron's case right quick, just to see what's going on with it, because she has been gone for 10 days. Let's see if she's had anything going on with this. Yeah, no, nothing's happened since October 7th. So, order just signed by the judge governing the deadline to respond for her and her attorney to respond to the amended complaint, because Candace Owens keeps doubling down on this whole thing of Brigitte Macron being born a man. So they had to amend their complaint to add in the new evidence. That was done back on September 26th. It was docketed September 30th. Then a stipulation was entered from her attorney regarding the deadline to respond. And then there was an order on the stipulation. So she has until October 30th to get the response. In 9 days, Candace, 9 days to file that response to the amended complaint. And what this response will be is based on the new allegations. So they don't have to respond to the entire complaint all over again, just the parts that are amended. Okay, so it shouldn't need extra time. And we already know she filed for a motion to dismiss because reasons. It's so crazy. I don't think Candace realizes Kash Patel was close friends with Charlie. Wrong move to blame FBI in this case. They're going to go hard. She blamed the entire United States military. Like all of the U.S. military should be pissed off at such insinuation with no evidence. She's talking about planes flying overhead like we would allow a plane in our airspace, and we don't know who up there. Yeah, they be like, breaker, you identify yourself. Okay, one warning. We will be sending a warning shot if you don't identify yourself. Oh, okay, we're just going to take you down if you don't identify yourself. We would take that plane out the sky. I don't even have to be in the military to know that. My ex-husband was in the Navy. But I mean, that's just stuff I read about. We would take that plane out of our airspace if they don't identify themselves. For her to insinuate a plane was flying around in our U.S. airspace, and we have no idea what that plane is, why they up there, what they're doing, who they are, and they don't want to identify themselves, that plane would have failed in real time. It wouldn't have taken long. They would say, all right, we might need somebody to come out here who got to take the plane out the sky because we don't know what they're doing. They shoot it down. Any airman can give me some confirmation on it, because that's my understanding from what I read and research. They will take that plane out the air. She's talking about his flight log and all of it. I'm sorry, there's a black box in every plane. What do you mean? Like stuff like that goes over her head. So when she's saying these things, and she's talking about there's no log or something, please remember that every plane has a black box unless it's been disabled, which would have been something that someone would have to manually do. You have a flight data recorder, and you have the cockpit voice recorder. Those are two main components of the black box in every plane. So you're not like the data of the plane itself is being recorded in real time. There's no way a plane is going to go in the air and that black box does not record what's going on with that flight, unless it's disabled and it's taken out. And then, of course, that's the identification. Yeah, get up there in the air and pretend like you don't hear somebody from some air tower trying to get you to identify yourself. Yeah, we're just going to shoot this thing out the sky. Blow it out the sky. We're not doing this. Because that's exactly what would happen. Exactly what would happen, man. Franklin says it's up to TPUSA to give it to the feds. That's the point. They had it. He showed it to Candace, and we don't know what happened then. And that's what they're going to ask her, probably. What did you see? And why didn't they? I think they did give it to him, but why are you asking to see this stuff and not sending it over, making sure it gets over to the investigators or the feds? I'm sure Erica Kirk had to put out a mandate saying whatever they need, we're going to give it to them. Candace Owens is not the CIA. Y'all know Erica Kirk is probably like seething right now, or just hoping that she violates the order. And it's like, oh, good. Then she'll be off my hands for about 6 months. Someone from Turning Point USA shared a video that isn't available to the public over a Zoom call. That's what she said anyways. Yeah, she did say that in a video. Michelle Porter, what's going on? Candace has no gag order in Charlie's case. This is all melodramatic with her. It could be. It could be. But like I said, no one insinuates themselves in an order, unless she is at least a witness. Why do that? It's so crazy. And then it's not going to give her favor with the court if she tries to invoke herself in it with these stupid posts. Because this is very serious. Candace, this is very serious. This is an investigation of the murder of Charlie Kirk here. Your friend, your brother. This is extraordinarily serious. Why are you doing things to go against what's going on here? Take it seriously, Candace. You're not really adding much to it. You haven't proven that it's someone else. You haven't proven much of anything. The information she's given, it's like, I know, but I don't know, but I don't know what I know, God. Stop it. Piss that judge off if you want to, girl. Candace is nuts to be peanut seriously. She has to violate and serve jail time guarantee. I really think everyone needs to think about how important it is to have patience. Yeah. She was receiving texts from Charlie weeks before that said he thought Israel was going to kill him. I hope she turned it over. That qualifies her as a witness, she said, and showed the text he sent her. There you go. I mean, text messages, emails, stuff that she thinks she has the right to possess. Yeah, okay. You put it out here that he thought that there was some threat to his life, some imminent threat to his life and livelihood or his safety. And you're not sharing that? You're just now saying something after he was shot in front of the world to see. Candace, please violate the damn order. Because you can't make this stuff up. I wouldn't doubt if she had a cease and desist put on her from Turning Point USA or Erica at this point. I wouldn't doubt that either. That actually would be a great way to go. That would be a great way to go. If anything, Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA needs to be seeking a cease and desist order. Definitely to keep her from communicating with anyone that is still employed or having previously been employed with Turning Point USA after the shooting. So that way, anyone that no longer worked there before, he was assassinated, whatever they get would be third party information related to them anyway, unless they were there in person. But as far as the company itself, to safeguard the company and the employees, oh yeah, Candace needs to be hit with a cease and desist order from Turning Point USA. Erica Kirk being the CEO now. That would be epic. Boy, that will boil her blood. Do y'all know how pissed off Candace would be to see a cease and desist coming from the desk of Erica Kirk as the CEO of Turning Point USA? That would be epic. And it would send her into a frenzy. Candace, go sit your ass down, girl. Lord mercy. Candace is the witness. Oh, Frank was saying that Candace is the witness now. All right. Not a witness because the test was a screen grab from Andrew. The text messages mean nothing. Like Charlie was becoming a Catholic when he said Pope Francis is a Marxist, and Leo lied about what JD Vance said. Rocky said, frankly, your goddess is not that important. Your goddess is not that important. Frankly, my dear, she is going to be a witness. It will probably be for the defense due to all the reasonable doubt she's put out there. Yeah. MB Burke says she has serious delusions of grandeur. I really think someone needs to check her for postpartum. I mean, she does it, and she's going to get, listen, if something happens, let's say hypothetically, and I want to emphasize hypothetically speaking, journey with me through the theater of my mind. Hypothetically, Candace is now a witness. She's bound by this protection order. Let's say she puts out this post, and then there's a petition filed for her to be held to contempt. She gets a hearing. either party could easily petition the court for her to have a psych eval. Because what they will do is look at all the videos that she's done and her conduct and her behavior that will be considered outside the norm. And if she goes in there talking about, I had a baby, I had a baby, I blame it on my pregnancy and my hormones and stuff, they'll probably order her for a psych eval. Now, that wouldn't affect her competency to be able to stand a hearing for a trial or anything like that and receive any penalty or judgment. But it at least give the judge an idea of where she is mentally and emotionally and psychologically. But Candace is by no means stupid. So she understands laws. She understands his order. She's the one saying that she's going to violate it. So obviously she must be bound to it by some means. And that would be more than likely as a witness. And if she's going out here saying, I'm going to do this, then the question would be, is this postpartum to blame for her making these horrible decisions? Because she has, 3 weeks of Charlie Kirk videos she's done where she's blamed any and everything else? Like, and then, her husband, poor thing, sitting here like, okay, why is this guy here? I mean, I get he was your friend and all of this, even though she hasn't shown any evidence to show that they were so close leading up to the day he passed away. But it's like, dang, if my wife is falling apart like this, granted, this is her friend and all, but she's out here talking about she's going to violate an order. He needs to be sitting down and asking her a lot of questions here. What is going on with you? Why would you risk your liberty and freedom in a whole court hearing just to violate an order regarding this investigation? Let that play out. You really want to go there now? He needs to be talking to her and asking her some questions here. What is all of this about? It's turning into an unhealthy obsession. And that's just my opinion on it. It's an unhealthy obsession at this point. I don't see how anyone with 4 kids and a lot to lose would want to say, I'm going to violate an order that no one has connected her to. She's doing this. And who would want to be connected to a gag order, knowing that you could be held to contempt if you violate it? Make that make sense. It's so crazy. Tyler's attorneys are not saying Tyler is innocent. They are trying to keep him from the death penalty. Gotcha. I agree. All Tyler has to do to prevent DP is to plea deal. Yeah. Susan, Candace is so far gone, she probably reads her feminine past for science. Yeah. You got comment of the day. Give it up for Susan Lloyd. Susan Lloyd has won comment of the day, people. Oh, man. Y'all, listen. Put some clapping heart emojis in the chat for Susan Lloyd. Comment of the day. Well done. Oh, man. Let me drop some. Oh, my God. Fire. There you go, Susan. Fire emojis in the chat. Susan Lloyd. Ladies and gentlemen, Susan Lloyd. Susan Lloyd, well done. Well done. Dear God. I'm about to get up out the chair, y'all. We're in 2 hours and 20 minutes, y'all. We're almost done. I'm just going to get through these comments. I appreciate you all for tuning in. Well done. Oh, I needed to end on that note. That's good. She's reading Georgia's tea leaves. Candace claimed people are claiming to be okay, George. Child. She better. Y'all, I've seen 1 or 2 interviews with him, and I'm like, okay, must be the tea and cakes. Bless his heart. Oh man, Candace made that post so the next time she goes live All the candy asses will tune in for the info that will burn the house down. Candace, just release the daggone info, girl. You see it talking about breaking laws. Oh man, the X-Files. Susan says she's somehow trying to now make the entire trial all about her. She's just like she's made Charlie's death all about her. Yeah. She doesn't know how to just, it's not about you, Candace. Okay. We just want the facts. We want to be able to report on this stuff without you sitting here. Like we're reporting on Candace Owens' dumb conspiracy theories more so than the case itself. Like I have court docs that I want to present, that it's rather difficult to do because I have a whole safety assessment that I wanted to show you all last week, but couldn't get to it because sitting here talking about Candace's conspiracy theories. A whole a safety assessment. So, and it's done in cases like this to where they determine, whether you're going to get out on bail, whether you the rating of your failure to appear. I mean, it's a whole assessment. And I'm like, that's something that people should know. Can't get past Candace's conspiracy theories about bees and, buzzwords and honey and cookies and shit. Like, we can't even get past the nonsense. She's having visions and dreams. A deceased person has been deceased for like 2 or 3 weeks. Not going to his wife. Nope. He came to Candace and Candace only. Oh my God. Girl. Bye, Felicia. Yucky City girl, and most likely she won't have any just like she ignored when BB published the letter and she ignored Josh Hammer's response pretty much. Yeah, she's gonna have to get hit with some defamation lawsuits on that. Except the gag order doesn't involve people like Candace Owens. Maybe it does. Maybe she's a witness. And the order is here. And it says witness. So it does, actually. They had to narrow it down. It says here, the investigation or litigation of this case shall not intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly permit a witness, investigator, consultant, staff member, or other member of the prosecution or defense team. So it does. If she's a witness, that would include her. So, and I dropped the link for you guys to check out the actual protection order yourself. Diane said defamation lawsuits will be Candace's nightmares. Exactly. Because she's already mad and still seething over the Macron's lawsuit, wanting Trump to intervene. So I'm surprised Trump and JD Vance, they haven't said anything. They're infringing upon my free speech. Are they, Candace? Are they? You're claiming someone was born a man. That's based on human anatomy and biology here. What are we talking about? You didn't even have to talk about the person. Why are you stuck on the Macrons? I don't understand. You're not doing a world a favor. She said she was willing to stake her entire career on the fact that Brigitte Macron was born a man. So maybe we're witnessing that downfall of that career. I don't know. And she put it out there. Erica is the TP USA CEO. We all have to deal with it. It's what Charlie wants, being the founder. Exactly. She got to get over it. Candace is super blessed. No, that's not what she said. She said there was no blood from the back. She did say he was shot from the front. In the last video she did wearing the CIA paraphernalia. She probably shouldn't be wearing. I know she said there was no blood from the back. She said she can conclude that he was shot from the front. That's what she said. Yeah, go back and watch the video, frankly. All right. Susan Lloyd, I wonder if Tennessee has the Baker Act. Ooh. It wouldn't shock me if someone gets tired enough of her nonsense and petitions to the court to have her committed. Probably. You're misquoting her. You got to watch the video. She said in the last video she did. In the last one she did. In the beginning. I do believe the FBI informed Candace of threats against her after Charlie's death. You born a man, you would die a man. One say her name, you are next. Oh, wow. I hope she needs to go report it. Why not do a police report? Get a protection order. That was the plane where she was totally off on the time. She thought it was Utah time. It's UTC. Candace, did you really think UTC stands for Utah time? Girl, stop. Oh no, man. There's no way Candace Owens thinks that UTC means Utah time. I'm highlighting your comment as files. Well done. Are you kidding me? Candace really thought UTC was Utah time. Y'all, I can't be here all night, y'all. Oh my God. Which I can't breathe. I can get up. Oh God, keep me near the cross. Okay. You can't make this stuff up. Are you serious? Candace thought UTC was Utah time. What's the C for, Candace? Utah time code. What is it? Cookies? What? Crush. Utah crush. What? Utah clock. You can't make this stuff up. Oh my God, y'all! I'm trying to breathe. Jesus Christ. Oh, you can't make this up. Lord, be offense. Okay. Oh man, she doesn't know it's universal. Okay, bless her heart. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Who child? Okay, it's frankly, my dear, really Candace. Didn't George say he never knows which Candace he'll get when he wakes up in the morning? Y'all funny. Y'all. Oh man, this is good. This is too funny, man. Y'all look, y'all are making me laugh. I needed to laugh. That's good stuff. He did say that in the interview. Shout out to Jay Witt. I think he played that video of an interview she did when they were engaged. It's like, you know, I don't know when I'm gonna get my wake up in the morning. I thought they were abstinent. Or was it another interview he did? Well, he said he doesn't know what he's gonna get. Was it with British channel? He did an interview for a British channel. Was it that interview? I do remember him saying it. I don't know what I'm gonna get when I wake up in the morning. She fits many hats. She's like the mom. She's the, you know, and he was talking about that. We was like, yeah, no, we know there's 6 voices in her head. It's okay to say that. we all agree. Candace has at least 6 voices in her head. That's my assumption on that, and that's pretty much it. I think most of us agree to that. Bless her heart. Good God. All right. Jackson, look at all the people that could sue the Candace mouth for defamation all over the place, over all this. Exactly. What's going on, Darren Bruce? How you doing? What's happening with you? Let's go, Candace. Violate the gag order. I know, right? She showed the FBI those texts. Really the same FBI that she said nobody can trust. Nah, I doubt it. That's the problem. If she has information that is pertinent to the case, she needs to give it up. Talking about burning down a house. Yeah, good luck to that. Why you violate a gag order? Girl, bye. That time in jail ought to really mellow her ass right down. Erica said no one tells people what to say. When she got the award for Charlie, Candace claimed she was told what to say. Louis Farrakhan, she was wrong about him. Wow. That is a gag order. Yep. Where's Candace gag order? Papers prove it. Where's Candace gag order? Papers prove it. This is the order. If she's saying that she's bound by the gag order, she's gonna violate it. That's her post. I'm saying if here's what I'm saying, Diane. If she is bound by any gag order, this is the order. And the only way she would be bound by it is if she has been deemed a witness. Does that make sense? The order is right here. So that's the only thing that as far as a gag order that has been released. This is it. This is page 2 of it. Here's page 1. This is a protection order. And it's interchangeably, it's considered a gag order. It's a type of protection order. A gag order is a type of protection order or restraining order. but this is limiting the information that's being released out to the public to ensure a impartial jury. It's not tainting the jury prospective jury pool, and it does not infringe on due process for the defendant. So if you read the order, I've dropped the link twice. If you read it, if she is considered a witness, because the witness is right here, then that would make her bound to the order. If she puts up a post saying she's going to violate the gag order, no one said anything about her having a gag order. She did. You understand? Diane, Candace put that out there. I'm showing you what the evidence is here with the order and her post. I didn't wake up and say she's got a gag order. Candace put that out there. So you might want to ask her to prove anything else beyond that. Okay? Ask her to prove it. So maybe she'll do that tomorrow. She must have received a cease and desist. That's the question, Diane. She needs to put it out there. She's the one saying that she's going to violate a gag order. Why would she say that? That needs to be directed to her, not me. I'm just reading the order and reading her post. And that's the only way she could be bound by this order is if she is a witness to the case. That's it. I'm just going on her post and that order. All right? And the definition of a gag order. So, lots of information we've gone over, Diane. Feel free, if you missed something, to go over it and replay. I did pull up the definition of gag order as well. So, yeah. All right, y'all. This has been absolutely fun. That's the question. I want to make sure I get y'all comments in. She will be easily laughed off the witness stand. It would be easily proven to be an unreliable source and probably unbalanced. Yeah, and if she gets up there and says anything under oath and makes statements that are not true, guess what that's called? Guess what that's called? When Candace, guess what that's called? When you get up under oath and then you make false statements. Guess what you're doing? I'll wait. It's called perjury, Candace. It's called perjury. Candace, why would you want to be connected to this? Why would you send this text? Why would you send this post, Candace? You got people defending you. You need to prove to them how you're violating something that no one has claimed that you're bound by. You're the one saying you're going to violate a gag order. Show us the order, Candace. Show the order. All right, that's all I have right here. Signed back on September 16th, 2025. If she has something specific to her, Diane, trust me, that is for Candace to release. But she put out that post. And that post, only she's connecting herself to a gag order. We're not doing that. You might want to ask her for the documents. I don't have to prove anything she posted up. Why would she even post that? It's a crazy thing to even try to connect yourself to. That's crazy. Tyler's attorneys are not saying Tyler is innocent. Gotcha. Turning Point USA definitely has grounds to send her one. She's accused them of financial wrongs as well as being in on Charlie's assassination. She did. She blamed Turning Point USA. She blamed the whole nother country. She blamed the Macron's lawsuit, which was filed before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So that's not even feasible along any reasonable timeline. A word she uses that she doesn't understand, I guess. Timeline, Candace. You can't say that a lawsuit that preceded this man's death somehow has something to do with his death. It's so ridiculous. A cease and desist is a gag order. Yep. By definition, it is. Yep. Restraining order, gag order is a type of restraint order. Cease and desist is a type of restraining order. So yeah. I want to know why the text she showed between her and Charlie had him listed as a new contact. Really? Child. Candace, did you create these text messages from some random phone? What? When is Erica Kirk really gonna like get her attorney and they just gonna say something to just shut down Candace? Because that's what needs to happen. Erica Kirk needs to speak with her attorney. She don't need to speak and respond alone. She needs to respond with an attorney to Candace. That's how this needs to go, because it makes no sense. A new contact. You can't make that up, man. Nope, Diane. But they overwhelmed to hear 3K witness. Thousands of witnesses will not be involved. Only a few will appear to witness Tyler on the roof. I mean, they could call in anyone they believe have pertinent information. Not saying that they're going to be called into the trial. You can be considered a witness and not actually be called to testify. There's a difference. So if they come to you and say, you know, we're looking to you to be a witness to provide some information, doesn't mean that you're being summoned to testify in the trial hearing. There is processes to this litigation. We're not at the phase of the trial hearing as of yet. So just because you get witnesses to provide information, answer questions, or even affidavits does not mean that they will be summoned to testify in the hearing. That's a totally different phase of this process. So that's not an automatic. If you're a witness, you're going to testify. No, that's not automatic. Monica Guevara. What's going on? TP USA needs to find the person leaking to Candace. She constantly claims she gets info from them. Exactly. She says she's a Mason. Isn't that something a man is and not a woman? Wouldn't the equivalent of that be an Eastern Star or something sort? Isn't a Mason a cult? I don't know what it is. What is Mason? Why would she claim to be a Mason? You can't make this stuff up. Fire! 8 crashes and deceased. A cease and desist from Turning Point USA would be more like she can't talk bad about them anymore. It's not a total gag order on Wild Case, but to Candace. Yeah, I mean, if they do a cease and desist, it will have to be specific on what they're asking her to stop doing, or what they're asking her to cease and desist from doing, or saying. Oftentimes, a cease and desist letter can be sent dealing with something along the lines of defamation, like you said. So if it's like slander or libel, you know, you send out a cease and desist letter. Any person can send out a letter. A order is issued from a federal agency or a court, but the letter can be sent out. They can get the attorney at Turning Point USA to issue a cease and desist letter. Say, you know, you need to cease and desist from contacting any employees at Turning Point USA, from asking for information related to the investigation, They can outline everything they want her to stop doing. And then, of course, all right, we tried. She's still doing it. Now they have a better, you know, foundation to sue her. So it could be to refrain from making certain statements. So when you look at what a restraining order is, there are subtypes of restraining orders. Cease and desist, gag order, those are subtypes of restraining orders. And of course, a restraining order, protection order, it just depends on what it's being applied to. Does that make sense? So if you look up the definition of protection versus restraining order, you can see the similarities and the differences. But yeah, if they sent her a letter, I mean, it'll be a stepping stone. Will she follow it? Probably not. I think she needs to be hit with something from a court. Like this lawsuit. Think about it. The Macron's lawsuit did not stop her from still saying that Brigitte Macron was born a man or a male. She's trying to change up the terminology, like the judge is going to allow her to go in with word salad or play semantics. He's not. You're saying man, male, whatever. It's not female, woman. So either way, it doesn't matter if you say male or man. You're saying that she was born with a penis. Cut it out. So she goes to court talking about, Your Honor, I didn't say man. I said male. Yeah, go in there and play that game if you want to, girl. Yeah. The Macron's attorney is going to say, Your Honor, can we have her attorney sanctioned for this nonsense? Because they're wasting our time. It's a headache. Yeah, go in there and think you're going to play semantics with the judge. They ain't got time for that. And hopefully Candace will reserve her right to remain silent. Oh, that'll be funny. Can y'all imagine somebody come in and exercising the arrest warrant while she's in the middle of a show? Can y'all imagine that? Candace sitting there saying, yeah, you know, but I don't know. And what? We have a warrant for your arrest. Please stand up. Oh, man. He's like, what do you mean? George? Who opened the door? Why did you open the door, George? Dad, they have guns. We have children. You might want to go with it. I can't believe this. Somebody call 911. We don't trust the fans. We don't trust the fans. Is he been dragged out of here? Oh my God. Y'all, you can't make this up. Oh man, that would be epic. Candace Owens getting arrested on national television because she violating gag orders. Okay, yeah, go ahead, girl. That does not hurt our feelings, Candace. I hope you know that. I can't tell you anymore. She's not trash. Oh my God, I know. His grandfather's gun will show has been fired recently in Tyler's DNA. I'm sure it does. I'm not saying we're not saying that the evidence presented does not point to that. We're trying to figure out why is Candace Owens trying to actually present something alternatively and say something otherwise. It's just crazy. It's like, we have evidence, girl. Shut up. Like, she ain't helping. I'm telling you right now, she's not helping. She's helping the defense, not the prosecutor. So, child, yeah, you're right. Never had a great laugh. Y'all are golden. Thank you, GS, for the $10 super. You are fantastic. I appreciate it. Y'all, I appreciate this. Has been so much fun. I wouldn't trust Candace to investigate my vacuum cleaner, let alone someone's death. Exactly. What's going on, Craig? She's not bound by the gag order. She is not a witness. She put out the post. She need to explain it. Tyler's boyfriend ain't trying to go to prison. He's talking. Hey, he should. If you ain't a chick, hey, okay. That's scientific evidence on that. We don't go on theories. We go on science. President Trump have Candace a heads up. She ridiculed him. Exactly. Yep. Diane, that did happen. He told her, can you please shut up? Just for, sake of we're handling world affairs. I think she's a woman. She looks like a woman. I saw her. She looks like a woman. She was like, nope. Then you're gonna turn around and say, where's the president and the vice president? Why aren't they saying anything? My free speech is being infringed upon. I feel like I'm being invaded here. No, Trump told you shut up. I did a whole video on that. Trump told you shut up. You didn't listen. The end. So this is where we at. But yeah, she ridiculed it. She got on video. She was sitting here. What is her thing with Trump? I mean, she no longer supports him now. She hates his guts. I mean, where we stand with this? Because she act like she doesn't have any respect for him either. So no one can tell Candace anything. She said the only two people that can tell her to shut up is her husband and Erica Kirk. Somebody needs to be telling her that. Either one or both. We don't care. And if that's the case, then that means there's nothing that the president or vice president could say, because the only two people that can tell Candace to shut up is Erica Kirk and her husband, George Farmer. She's made that clear. So even the president can't get her to shut up. George, you need to start talking about it. You need to say something. Carly, what's going on? She probably never got involved in a criminal case. I hope they make an example of fake reporting. Exactly. Candace is dangerous with her unhinged followers. Yes. The candy asses. Jenny, what's going on? Laughing emoji. I would trust her with a tip poll leaking text messages shows she's distrustful. Yeah, she leaked messages, y'all. She leaked these messages. Mila, what's going on? Holy crap. What a buffoon. Yeah. After the UTC gaffe was pointed out to her, she doubled down. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, the Egyptian Air Force. She doubled down. She always doubles down no matter how often people debunk her. Yeah, I'm just daring her to violate it. This is my video. Y'all see the title of my video. Candace Owens premeditated violation of a gag order. I dare her. I'm daring you. Please violate it. Whatever gag order you think you're bound by. Violate it. What do you want, Candace? Violate the order, girl. She put up the post. It's not my post. It's hers. Violate it. Y'all, listen, let me show this again so y'all can see. I'm not making this up. I didn't post this up, Candace. You did. So yeah, there we go. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead and validate it. This is her post. Go for it, Candace. She said she gonna violate this gag order. I plan to violate it on the world's behalf. Yeah, go for it. 6 months indirect criminal indirect contempt. 6 months. Jail. That's jail, Candace. 6 months in jail in Utah. Go ahead and violate that order, girl. Violate that order, Candace. You know what you're doing. I don't know if she thought it was Utah time. She converted it wrong. She got called out on X about it. She think UTC stands for Utah. Oh God. Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. This is too funny. Oh man, some people said, what's going on, Annie? You know, Candace is quick to point the finger on everyone. I am wondering now, is Candace the one who organized this tragic death and is reflecting the blame to others? She is too vocal. Exactly. Like, let it hit dog holler, right? Child boo. Mila, right? She says it's still strange. And then you're being an idiot. Okay, I'm not gonna read that. How you gonna come in here calling me your names? You put the post up. Have a good night, Aber. All right. Candace feels guilty because Macron's wife is a trans man. Macron effect. Catholic school children should have given her a clue of how dangerous things could get. They're gonna prove with scientific evidence. I don't believe she's a trans anything. I believe she was born a woman and gave birth 3 times. I'm not here to take away her motherhood. But science and DNA will prove that. And reality is reality. We can't just sit here and doubt the blood pumping through our veins. At some point, we have to accept that certain things in life is just facts, and it doesn't care about our feelings. So they're going to present scientific evidence. I can't wait. We will start getting offers to sign up for a class action lawsuit against Candy. She's accused and insulted half the world. I wouldn't be surprised if the court cases start being class actions. There are, listen, everybody over there, and you know, between the Israeli prime minister, Jewish persons, Israel, they're gonna be like, enough of this. Turning Point USA, the U.S. military. She has accused whole groups of people of being involved. When she said U.S. military, I was done. I was like, oh, hell no. And I just went off in a video. Do not accuse our United States Armed Forces. And you can't even say a specific branch when you don't know what UTC stands for, of being involved in a civilian's death like this. This was horrendous. No one can unsee that. She acts as if the death of Charlie Kirk only affects her and no one else. And that's just, it's just ridiculous, Candace. So, you know, this is more than just how Candace feels at this point. He has a wife, 2 kids he left behind. Why in the world do you not think this affects them? That's my question. Why would you think that this would not affect anyone else that he knew or loved? He had parents. You know, I believe he had siblings. He had a family. He had whole families. He had a whole company. This is not just affecting Candace. This affects everyone that loved him. It affects everyone that saw him get shot. So, you know, she's just going to stand on that mountain alone. Keep accusing whole countries and other world leaders and, you know, whole class of people, U.S. military. You know, I'm like, which branch of military are you talking about here? You talking about Air Force, Marines? Who we talking about? Like, she's just going randomly all over the place. It's just getting to a point where it's, you know, it's showing how erratic and irrational she is at this point. So now she believes that she's bound by a gag order. Go ahead and violate it. Lady Luck. Candace is not a witness or attorney or prosecutor or any parts of the case. She has no gag order. Why are you giving credence to her insanity? We're reading what it is. This is her post. She could be a witness. That's part of the order. That order has been in effect since September 16th, 25. So if she has been deemed a witness, and told, hey, we consider you a witness, provide information to us. Whether she testifies or not is irrelevant. She will be bound by that order. She's the one saying that she is. So yeah, I'm not the only one reporting on this. Candace, oh Lord. Candace, no personal responsibility of her words, cause and effect. Yeah, no, she's a grown woman. It's time for her to take responsibility for all the things that she says. She has all the responsibility. Candace is grown. And one thing she's not doing is shying away from anything she says. She takes responsibility. She has to. And that's part of having integrity as a journalist as well. It's like if I sit here and start saying things that I know aren't true, it can be proven false. And I'm saying it anyway, despite such. I mean, I'm getting challenged on information I'm reading that I did not even create. I didn't create this post. I pulled up the order. I didn't sign that order, but it exists. And it gives the stipulations of who will be bound by the order. And it says on here, clear as day. I've dropped a link to it. You guys can read it for yourselves. Witnesses, investigators, consultants, staff members, or other members of the prosecution or defense team. And I said the only way she could be bound by this order is if she is considered to be a witness. It's that straightforward. If she is considered to be a witness. Is it insane for her to be doing this? Yes, it is. But we're just speaking on the probability of her, if she is connected. This would be the only feasible way out. But it's on her to come out and say, I put up that post because the order exists. I'm mocking the order. Like, she has to come out and clarify this, because otherwise, most people would, a reasonable person would assume that she is being bound by a gag order. Should she be saying stuff like this if that's not the case? No, because you're lying on the court by saying that a court has issued an order against you. And where is the damn order if it's specific to her? So I'm asking the same questions you all are asking. Only thing I'm doing is presenting an option as to how she could be bound by an order that already exists. If there's another order out here that she's received that is specific to her, I haven't seen it. And she certainly has not put that forward. So what other order could she be talking about other than the one that is already signed by a judge going back to September 16th, over a month ago? That's the thing. So I want her to present the order. Laughing and learning. Hey, that would be epic. I sure hope that if she goes to jail, that they make sure she to get her innocent. She has to stay Eastern fashion. That's her Candace's own words. She said she gets it from the black mold she chose to live with for 6 months, going back to what, 2018 or something, in an apartment. Y'all, we went over the lawsuit. Then Storybox went over it today in a video. I was like, oh, shout out these Storybox. Yeah, I went over that whole case. Yeah, she said she had recurrent yeast infections. I was like, girl, then when did black mold get recurrent yeast infections? How does that happen? Stop eating bread. The thing she's saying is so crazy. She filed the lawsuit in that, by the way, and lost. Candace, you lost. Did you ever pay that money to that apartment complex, Candace? You owe them almost $19,000. I hope you paid that money. George is wearing an apron. Tea and cakes time, dear. I think her husband is not only not going to stop her. He's probably the one driving much of this madness. Yeah, he just let her go. Y'all hate the virus. How you doing? Charlie was portrayed by everyone. That's a bit broad, Candace. And you narrow that down a little bit. Exactly. I'm usually here just for Umar content. Oh, thank you for tuning in to the Candace Owens segment, honey, because she's just as wacky. We have a good laugh. Hate the virus. Candace content pretty funny. Yeah, we keep it fun. We keep it fun and funny. Even Egypt. I know, right? Candace, who's the children's real mother then? Her dead brother is alive. Exactly. Yeah, the questions she can't answer. I'm the opposite. I tune in for Candace's first time, but then do the Omar ones too. Yeah. Thank you, S-Files. Thank you all for tuning in to both. All of the content here, I have to do my diligence and research and reporting. And like I said, I would love for Candace to produce this so-called gag order she thinks she's under. We would all love for her to post that out. Then we will report on it. That's all I can do. I found Umar more of a threat. Yeah. Candace has a huge audience though. And she says things that like have world leaders suing her ass over it. It's so crazy. Funnier, but to laugh at now. Yeah. Mania. The bees, the Jews, the Ninja Turtles from the trapdoor, TPUSA, Josh Hammers is saying, don't forget the entire United States military. God. Did you see Umar's Boston radio station interview? We're going to go over that tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow. I already have a post up. We're going to go over that tomorrow. And I think I have a couple scheduled live, another scheduled live for Candace with 3 experts, psychological experts. Y'all. One of them is Dr. Todd Grande. And he is epic. Okay. So we're going to be looking at 3 experts that gave, a profile and assessment on Candace Owens. 3 videos. So you guys see that it's already up. Make sure you turn on the notifications so y'all don't miss that one because it's something else. Yeah, where's Umar's mom? Exactly. We're still wondering. We're trying to get Umar's mom out that house and get her family around her so she can be with her family. If Candace is not insane, she's nuts. Yeah. Candace and Officer Tatum. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. That's all I have. Thank you all for engaging in the chat. Shout out to all the supers up in here. GS70 gave a $10 super new to the channel. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. Y'all, we come with the facts, we keep it fun, and we learn. And hopefully you guys are, invigorated to go out and further research and read the information. All the resources to the links and everything is in the description of the video, so you guys can go over all the information that I went over today as well in your own spare time. Let's see here. Another 10 from GS. Candace said betrayed by everyone, including herself, it seems. Thank you so much for the 10. Thank you, Shannon, for the 20. Another 10 from GS. Saying when I die, all I want is for my children, my wife, to own everything I own, including 2 vacation homes I own for my kids as well. It's called Will. Exactly. Thank you, Susan Lloyd, for comment of the day. Candace is so far gone. She probably reads her feminine past for science. Y'all, shout out to Susan for that. That was absolutely hilarious. GS with another 10. Never had a great laugh. Y'all are golden. Thank you so much. And S Files with her epic comment. That was the plane where she was totally off on the time. She thought it was Utah time. It was UTC, which is Universal Time. Shout out to all of you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I have to get into bed so I can get up, have a regular job. And I will be here tomorrow with another Umar and Candace Owens live stream. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you all. You guys can see the new equipment, the green screen, the lights, cameras, action, baby. And I am presenting all this great information for you all. And I appreciate all of you. Make sure you hit the like button, share the videos. And until the next one, Lady Luck Club out.